disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing.
Lobito!
Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Hello?
All right. Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is your good friend, Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always, my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. We're also joined by, as you can see here, we already got a full panel. We got Stu, we got Gonzalo, we got Boxing Chief, aka Jay. Guys, thank you for joining us, really appreciate it. Before we get down to the fun, which is a bunch of sensational fights coming up this Saturday, let's get the business out of the way, fellas. If you want to continue the gravy train rolling, you know what to do. You can donate via the Super Chat feature during the show. You can go on over to the BDA PayPal page or the Patreon page and give a couple of contributions there. Nothing big, nothing major. Just if everybody contributes a little bit, we can go a long ways to making BDA or boxing great again as well. But the most important thing is that you continue to like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and just generally spreading the BDA gospel. So guys, thank you for joining us. Shout out to official scorecard Boxing Science, aka, well, he's got the website, the Coup d'etat Boxing. Check it out. James Thornton, You Big Dummy, Triple JJJ, Adam UK, Trill Bollins, UK Boxing Rob, Christopher Roman, Ignorant Boxing, Jim McDonald, many more people to come. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. Okay, so I got, like I said, full panel here. Jay, Gonzalo, my co-host King Bucho, and of course Stu. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing great. Who wants to start? Because we got Berchelt versus Valdez. People are saying it's going to be a great fight, blah, blah, blah. I'm a little hesitant to say that it's going to be a great fight because last time I said a Berchelt fight was going to be great was when he fought Miura, which in my eyes was a sure thing that it was going to be explosive. And then fucking Berchelt decided, like a pussy, that he wanted to save some brain cells, and he decided to box. So I've never quite forgiven him for that. What do you guys think? Who wants to start off?
If you guys don't mind, I'll start. First of all, thank you for having me on, and good evening, everybody. You know what? You're always looking forward to a fight until it lets you down. So I'm still looking forward to this fight, and we'll see what the outcome is. Mm-hmm. But if Valdez is trying to prove a point, Berchelt's really trying to prove his point that he wants to move up and fight with the big boys at lightweight. This is his opportunity against a big stage. So I'm definitely still looking forward to this one.
Yeah. I mean, Valdez is a 2012 Olympian, right?
I believe so. I know he is an Olympian. It would have to be 12 to be where he's at, if I'm correct.
Yeah, because it just seems interesting that it's going to be 9 years now this summer that he was at the Olympics, and it's just now that he's getting what would be considered a big, fight. Because Quigg, he was a big dude, but subsequently what happened with him was that he was more of a bust than an actual. It seems like his heart wasn't in it. Stu, let me ask you this, man. You're in the UK. I'm always curious about whether you're going to stay up to watch his fights or whatever. Are you looking forward to the Valdez-Berchelt fight?
Yeah, I think I am. Yeah, I mean, Berchelt's one of them enigmas. We don't really know where Berchelt is really. I mean, everyone keeps telling me how talented he is, but this is his stage to prove it now. I mean, as for Oscar Valdez, always in a good fight, isn't he? I mean, he's always in a good fight. I don't know. I've ever seen a bad fight in Valdez. Problem with Valdez is gets hit too much, and that's gonna take years off your career. I mean, that fight with Scott Quigg alone, and broken jaw, face was a mess. I mean, it took hell of a lot out of him. That did, and this is the problem with Valdez. He likes to be exciting for the fans and stuff, and he likes to let his hands go, but you have to start being smart as well. And I think he just gets dragged into wars. It's because he's quite a good boxer, Valdez. When he's boxing and keeping it range and using his combination, especially straight punches, he looks a world-class fighter, but he just gets dragged into too many wars, sitting there toe-to-toe with someone like Scott Quigg, who was probably 140 pounds on the night. You know, madness. I think after that Quigg fight, I just don't think Valdez has got that spark back that he had before that. Just quickly, with the Olympics, I remember him being at the London Olympics, but did he medal or something?
No, I believe he did not.
No, he didn't, but I do remember him being there, and I do remember him having high hopes for him.
It seems like he was exceptional for a Mexican amateur, which, you know, there's not that many good amateurs over there in Mexico.
I thought he was for Americans, weren't he?
No, I think he was the Mexican Olympic team.
Oh, I thought Olympic was in the. Oh, I got
right. I saw one of his fights when he fought Lomachenko, and just Lomachenko was on a whole other level than him. So he wasn't quite on that great international level. And Berchelt, forget about it. He'll say it himself. He says, "No, fuck that." Amateurs level for Berchelt, he did not have the style to do that. Gonzalo, I don't know if you're there, but Stu brought up the hands from Valdez. It's been 8 years now since gonna be 8 years since he's been a pro, or it's been 8 years. He's training with the Reynoso and all that. I was watching one of the preview shows that Top Rank did, like a 24/7 style video, and he's hitting the pads, and I'm noticing he still drops his hands a little bit after his combinations. You would think a guy with that pedigree and this experience would actually stop dropping his hands, but there we go. He's still dropping them. And against Berchelt, he's the type of guy who's willing to take a shot, to give one. Bucho, I don't know if Gonzalo's there, so I'm going to redirect the question to you. Do you think Berchelt's... No. Oh, okay. Yeah, Gonzalo's there.
I'm listening.
So do you think that Escorpion Berchelt is the type of I don't give a shit guy who's just going to walk through Valdez and actually exploit those defensive liabilities?
He sure can, and they'll feel each other out, I believe. I mean, I do expect them to trade. And what does the word trading mean? It means, like you said, you know, you're going to get your shots off, and you're going to leave opportunity for the other guy to get his after you throw your volley. The interesting thing about these two guys, I think that Berchelt, I mean, he's got a good lead uppercut. And that's a real sneaky punch to land, I believe, on your opponent. And the thing is not just a sneaky lead right uppercut. It's a sneaky lead right uppercut with power. He gets a lot of leverage on it. And I do believe that Valdez throws more three-punch combinations, but they're kind of repetitive where it's the same right-left hook sequence. And I do expect that, you know, he's going to get caught with the lead uppercut from Berchelt. And if Berchelt can hurt him while boxing, he's going to keep it a little bit like a distance, like when you mentioned that Nero fight. But if he can deal with Valdez's power and he can close the distance knowing that he can take his shots, yeah, he's going to go in for the kill. I remember this fighter by the name of Cesar Bazan. When he used to fight, he used to make believe to the other fighter that his punches weren't like that heavy, so he would trade with those guys and not throw like heavy leather. But once those fighters got comfortable, then he would lay it on thick, and especially like with one shot. You know, he just surprised the fighter with one shot that the other opponent didn't expect that he had in his gas tank. And I do expect, like, when it goes down the line, like in the latter part of the fight, because usually you're stronger in the beginning and you could take a punch better. But as the fight progresses, somebody's going to retain a little bit more power. And if he can hide it, Berchelt can hide it where he's going to make the other guy think, and Valdez, he's not going to hit him as hard, but all of a sudden drop a bomb out of nowhere. He can catch Valdez because he does drop his hands and he does get hit a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Like, Pucho, when we see a guy, like, and by the way, great reference there to Cesar Bazan, Gonzalo, because they do have similar build, him and Berchelt, like long. That's why El Escorpión. That's why they call him, because he's long and he'll sting you. Bucho, what about these guys like Valdez? I don't know if you saw the film analysis that we did, guys. Check it out, 2-part film analysis. It's about 80 minutes total. Not a lot of people have seen it, so it's right there. You're going to learn a lot about both fighters. But Bucho, when you get a guy like Oscar Valdez, amateur pedigree, a lot of experience, blah, 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 how come he still drops his hands? And isn't that going to cost this motherfucker, man?
First of all, thank you, One Foot Out the Door, for the contribution. He says, love the show. Thank you, man. Thank you for watching. One Foot Out the Door. He's always in the chat, so that's good. Yeah, it might cost him. Listen, when Valdez fought, what's his name? The Scottish guy. I think
Quigg.
Man, he wasn't really hurting Quigg, in my opinion, that much.
Mm-hmm.
I think moving up to 130, Berchelt is... Listen, if he takes some of these shots consistently, I think he's going to finally start paying the price, man. He needs to keep his hands up. Like Stu said, box, be smart. Don't try to get into like exchanges. Well, he's going to have to do it, but he has to do it smartly. But I think that he's going to be dragged into a fucking war.
He always is Butch. But I'd have to disagree with that, where he didn't really do much to Quigg. If you look at Quigg's face, he actually looked like Joseph fucking Merrick. I mean, and that's the elephant man for you dumbasses that don't know. But his head was, well, he had a head growing on a head, and Scott Quigg was like 140 pounds in there. Like, let's not forget that. He was huge.
Yeah. What's his name? Steve Kim called Eddie Hearn out on that. He said, "Look, this guy was at 140 something. It was insane. That the you could tell that the back and all that, it was a difference of size and weight in there. But and by the way, don't forget, Valdez fought with a fractured jaw. I forget how many rounds. There's not a lot of guys that have been able to do that. Ali, Whitaker, and himself. The three.
Yeah, that was fight of the year for me.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight.
I picked up for fight of the year. I mean, look, Valdez, I think he was out of the ring for a while after that fight. Them fights, you don't just get back after a couple of months after one of them. It takes a long time to recover. And Scott Quigg as well, he took out a lot out of him. So Valdez is very, very nice on the eye when he's throwing punches, but when it's just his defense, he just gets hit far too much. He needs to work out what sort of style he is. Is he a fighter on his feet that's going to use distance and use his legs, or is he going to be a come forward brawler sort of thing? He's got both in the arsenal. I just don't think he's good enough defensively to fight on the back.
Yeah, is this the fight where he should become a brawler?
No, well, he already is a brawler. That's the problem. I mean, he's stuck between two styles. Do one or the other, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I hope he becomes a brawler for this fight, because I think that's what we all want to see. We want to see a great fight. I think that's everybody's talking about this fight just because of that reason, right? That it might be a war.
Yeah, the potential's high for a fantastic fight like that. By the way, shout out to One Foot Out the Door, who says, love the show. All right, shout out to One Foot Out the Door, man. Thank you for your contribution. And by the way, Magic Man in the chat room says, Valdez fought for 7 rounds with broken jaw. Again, I don't know how bad the fracture was, but man, let me tell you, when you're fighting with pain in your jaw and a guy's trying to whack you over it, it takes balls to continue fighting. So Valdez certainly has those balls. And to the question that Bucho posed about, well, is this going to be the great fight? I don't know, because Valdez, and this is what I'm curious to hear your thoughts on these guys. Do you think Valdez goes in there to box, or do you think he should pull a little bit of the Shane Mosley versus Margarito, which is to actually try to outslug the slugger, because he does have the faster hands, seemingly? What do you guys think? Should he throw Berchelt a curveball and try to outslug the guy?
He's the shorter man, right? With the shorter reach. He sometimes gets hit a lot because, I mean, he's an offensive-minded fighter, but for him to get the distance where he can punch with conviction, against fighters, usually he has to give up defense because he's offensive minded. So, he's got to get into position, and you can't box from the outside expecting to land if you're usually like shorter and be able to punch through the target while, deciding to fight like that. You have to step in and step hard and try to connect the other guy while you're trading. I mean, a lot of the times they think, well, maybe Mexicans don't have the best defense. No, but because, they're just willing to get into the distance to throw their punches, to land hard, and maybe to make the other guy retreat or shake him up to where he's not going to counter you because, you're hurting him. So that's what he does. His offense, while getting hit, he'll make the other guy think twice of also being there to punch Valdez back.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I mean, Berchelt has a good jab. Obviously, that's the other thing, though, because he's outslugged sluggers like what's his name, Vargas. A good, decent, strong fighter like Jason Sosa broke him down, really beat him up. It was really sensational performance, and he outboxed Miura. But that's not really saying much because Miura is an awful fighter when it comes to technique. It's just his strength, his punching power, and his kamikaze heart really did take him a long way in boxing. But he's never fought a guy like Valdez who can move a little bit better than he does, who can shift a little bit, a little bit more craft, and he can crack too. But the problem seems to be also that the durability. That's why a lot of people are picking Berchelt to win the fight, because he just seems to be the more durable guy, whereas Valdez, there's something fragile about him. Would you guys agree that there's a certain fragility about him? Maybe because of the...
Well, he's got busted up, EDA, but he's always won. So he never got broken down to the point. Even when he got that broken jaw, he was able to still be resilient enough to finish the fight. You said that only maybe like 3 fighters have done that. So even when the odds are against him and he's getting busted up, he's found a way. In another fight, he got like a broken nose. He found a way. The last fight that he fought, I don't know, Puerto Rican, was it Sosa?
Valdez.
I don't know if he was winning or losing. I cannot recall right now. But he found a way to knock that guy out where that guy had never really been knocked out, or maybe he had been knocked out once. So he's found a way. Right? Now, Berchelt, I think he got knocked out in one round by a Colombian kid in one occasion.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. That's the other thing. What was Berchelt's loss? That was a long way back. That was against Luis Eduardo Flores in Mexico, 2014. So that's about 6 years ago. No, what am I talking? Yeah,
the thing is, it just takes one war to finish a fighter. I remember when Nigel Benn, all right, he beat Gerald McClelland, but he was shot to pieces after that. I mean, just took everything out of the guy. And I think that could be the case with Valdez. I think his mind's telling him what to do, but his body's not giving up on him. That's what wars do to you. I mean, this is why you have to... I mean, now Floyd's retired, I get it why he did what he did, but it was just, at the time, it was just stinking to watch. Mm-hmm. But like I said, he's got his faculties about him. Valdez, he's in far too many wars, and like I said, that fight with Quigg, that takes a hell of a lot out of him. I think that's what sort of like start of his demise. Let's just say that.
Yeah, man, that's an interesting question about whether that Quigg, because Gonzalo, you brought up the Velez fight. I remember Bucci was complaining a little bit about that fight. Indeed, I think we did complain about the fight the day after, where the critics also, there were a lot of critics for Valdez in that fight saying, look, the guy looked a little bit flat. He did stop Velez, though, to his credit, something Ryan Garcia couldn't do. So we got to give him credit.
Nobody ever stopped Velez, right?
Yeah, I think
that's right. That's what I was thinking. That guy had never been stopped.
Right. Oh, and by the way, somebody's bringing up Salido in the chat room. I think Berchelt was supposed to fight Salido at some point. Or was he supposed to fight Miura, Salido? I don't know, but I think that fight would have been... Imagine all the wars Salido had and they still wanted to put him in there against Miura or Berchelt. Nah, that's like... I think they wanted to kill the guy or something. Because Salido fought some of the fucking most toughest guys out there. It's insane. But what were we saying? Valdez, Velez... anyway,
yeah, he dropped him and the guy had never been dropped. Velez fought a good fight. Another one, Adam Lopez, that one kid, he's decent. He dropped Valdez, but the point that I'm trying to make, Valdez got up and took the fight back from that one kid. So he's shown resiliency, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah, exactly. Yeah, listen, that both guys have proven in their past fights that they've got the minerals required to put on a great fight. By the way, yes, we're going to be opening up the phone lines very, very soon, in about maybe 5-10 minutes, depending on how the conversation goes. But it's just because I want to get everybody's thoughts here, all the regulars' thoughts on this fantastic fight.
One more thing, BDA. One more thing.
Yes,
one more thing.
Yes.
He did an interview just recently, and I was surprised by how articulate that the guy is. It was just this last one for this fight, where he answered questions in English and Spanish, and his Spanish is really articulate. His pronunciation is pretty good in Spanish, and also in English he speaks very well. So he's still a young kid that could put his words together. Just obviously got to say that his mental condition is still okay. You know, I don't think he's punch drunk like a Vargas. You know, when he was a younger man.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, he's not in that stage yet. By the way, I'm glad you mentioned Valdez's voice, because he's got a completely different voice than you would imagine if you look at him. He sounds like Abel Sanchez. Hold on, let me.
I couldn't feel my jaw from my chin to my ear.
Now, hold on, that audio sucks because you hear punching in the background. By the way, he sounds like an old guy.
What's up, guys? Jordan Hardy here.
No, that's not him. That's a woman. Hold on. All right, here we go.
I hadn't asked him, like, hey, is really.
Give me 2 seconds.
Bothered when people thinking that I moved up division because I was ducking to fight Shakur Stevenson. No, I've been boxing ever since I was 8 years old. I ain't scared.
Anyway, when I was watching the Top Rank preview, and before they show him on screen, you hear him talking. And I was certain that was either Abel Sanchez or maybe somebody else. And then they show him. I go, what the fuck is his face does not match the voice, which is insane. He looks like one of those kids you would see in a telenovela.
What Gonzalo said is true. The guy speaks English and Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
But now he has to show it in the ring, right? He wants to become a Mexican superstar or whatever. He needs to beat Berchelt. He needs to be exciting. I mean, that's the recipe that you need, right? You need to be exciting in the ring, and then everything else will follow.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't manufacture a star and maintain that stardom if the guy can't box. For example, Ryan Garcia showed against Campbell. Okay, he's not pound for pound, but at least he showed us he wasn't what was the name of that Irish dude that they were trying to prop up, and then eventually they threw him in there with Chavez Jr. to see who the hype job was.
Fuck, he was fighting on ESPN. Yeah.
Duddy. His name is
Duddy. Yes. Thank you, Gonzalo. Thank you, Gonzalo. John Duddy. Yeah. And so, see, that guy ended up losing against Chavez Jr. of all people. So, if you can't fight, you're going to get exposed. So, with Valdez, it's the same thing. Look, they want to make him into a Mexican star, perhaps, or maybe Berchelt, whatever. I think Top Rank has 2 good options there. But they need to fight first. They need to show that they can fight. And Valdez, there's more questions on him than
by the way,
Berchelt.
Being Mexican, Valdez, is there pressure on this guy to go to war? You know, you don't want to. Imagine the guy starts moving around the ring, makes it boring. He's gonna get blamed for that.
Great question.
And he's Mexican, and the Mexican community might.
Well, let me ask you, Bucho, because you get high standards for fighters. You don't like to see them just go out there and one shot at a time and run away. But against Berchelt, would you blame Valdez for doing that?
Yeah,
Berchelt,
I guess, man. I mean, listen, it's everybody's talking about this fight because you get 2 Mexicans that like to trade, brawl from time to time when it comes to Valdez from time to time. So, yes, expectations are high, and I would be disappointed if it's not a war. It has to be a war, man.
Stu, what do you think? I know you got high standards too, man. I mean, considering Valdez is fighting perhaps the best 130-pounder out there, a guy who's dangerous and who can crack, would you fault him if he decided to take it easy, in there?
Of course I wouldn't. I mean, what's he going to do? Steam forward with his chin in the air and get sparked out cold? I mean, look, Berchelt's a favourite for me. So Valdez, he's going to have to be smart. He can't fight like he did against Quigg, because Berchelt's a lot better boxer than Quigg was, So if Quigg's getting to you, you know what I mean, Berchelt's definitely going to get to you when you're fighting like that. So, I mean, I just don't see how. The only way I could see Valdez winning this is probably work rate, but I just don't see him going the distance. I fancy Berchelt by stoppage.
Whoa, okay, so we got to stop it right there already. I mean, a prediction rather. Speaking of predictions, we are recognized. Giving, I don't know if you know who's fighting this Saturday. I hope you do. Berchelt Valdez.
I know who's fighting.
No, but actually, I forgot to say there's also Broner. I guess they gave him a last minute fight, and he's gonna be fighting. And in the undercard, perhaps the most interesting fight of that card is the what's his name, Brazil versus Wallin. But anyway, we'll talk about that later if we get time. Recognize, what do you think, Berchelt? Yeah, actually, a good fight. What do you think, Berchelt Valdez? Can it live up to the hype? People are saying it's going to be a war. Will it be a war?
I mean, it could be a blowout. It could be a war for sure, but it could also be a blowout. Valdez is one of those guys. He just goes at you. Throws a lot of punches. Sometimes he reminds me of the baby bull. What was that kid's name again?
Juan Diaz.
Juan Diaz.
Diaz. Yeah. Sometimes he reminds me of that kind of guy, like one of those guys that throws a lot of punches. I think the first 3 rounds could be really interesting. Berchelt could be in trouble in the first 3 rounds, but I can't see Valdez winning this fight. I could be wrong, but I don't see Valdez winning. I think Berchelt, because he could do more and he's got more pop. I think he stops him somewhere like 8th, anywhere from 8 to 10, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the reason why I asked that about the hype, because a lot of people are expecting it to be an entertaining fight. But like you said, with your prediction, a lot of people are also picking Berchelt. It's almost like a sure thing. Why are you picking Berchelt? Do you think Valdez looks a little vulnerable in there? Like he's lacking something, perhaps?
Yeah. I think about that quick fight, and he's getting caught with some big shots, man. I mean, look, he got a good chin, but he also got it fractured or broken. You don't know how a fighter reacts after that, right? You can't. That's something that's very unpredictable. It doesn't necessarily means that he's going to get his jaw broken again. It could just hit that part and it rings in his head, and he just reacts different. His recovery time could be a little bit different after that. Did Valdez have a fight after Quick?
He's had a couple, including, that's the other thing that I wanted to ask you, fellas, because he's been training with Reynoso, Canelo's trainer, for about the past 3 fights, I believe. So, do you guys think that it's being a little bit overrated, Reynoso, as a factor for these fighters? Because I don't think he's yet to prove that he can succeed with other people other than Canelo.
See the next Buddy McGirt.
Actually, Virgil,
Canelo, it's hard to judge somebody when you're dealing with a fighter who's great, right? So he's got Canelo. I mean, how much of it is him, and how much of it is just Canelo, the desire for Canelo to be, always improving in his boxing skills. So I think it's a little different sometimes when you're dealing with a guy like that.
This is my point with trainers. This is my point with trainers. When you've got world-class talents, trainers don't really make much difference. I mean, I could train Canelo and it'd still be a world-class fighter. No, it's true. Listen, that's natural talent, right? The best trainers, what they'll do, they'll get a guy he's methodical, and he does the basics well and just polish up on things. Mm-hmm. But when you've got a world-class talent, there's not a lot really that you can change and do with them. So it's just about game plans, really. You bring a game plan, whether he wants to do it or not, you bring it to him, and it's up to him to, Canelo he doesn't need to train. When you get to that sort of level, you can see what's going on. You read the fight, you can see what's going on. There's not really much a trainer can tell. I mean, if I'm Canelo Alvarez, say #1 pound for pound fight in the world, I'm not going to sit there and listen to Ben Davison telling me to go on the back foot and shit, and run, just pop out the jab, and win this with a jab, sort of thing. You're not going to listen to someone like Ben Davison. That's why I couldn't understand why Tyson Fury did that. Tyson Fury knows boxing inside out. Yeah, he's listening to this ridiculous Ben Davison game plan.
Remember,
trainers are good for the lower level guys and the guys coming up, the young fighters. But when you get to Tyson Fury at Canelo level, mate.
Okay, but yeah.
I know Sugar Hill did make a difference to Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury always had that in him to fight like that. I've been calling it for ages.
Yeah, but why didn't he come out with it? You gotta.
I don't know either. I really don't get it. But like I said, Ben Davison, I couldn't believe that Tyson Fury was listening to some of this guy's instructions when he was a PE teacher, wasn't he? Like fucking 3 months before. I mean, come on, man.
If you're comfortable in the environment that you're in, if that's your happy place, that makes you better, I believe. I remember, like, when I used to go to the gym back home, that place was my happy place. I loved going to the gym. So if a guy feels comfortable and he's got good chemistry with the coach, I do believe Reynoso got good energy when he speaks. I mean, that's just gonna help him a whole lot more.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that could be it too. Maybe that's his like magic touch, right? The only elite fighter that I've seen where a trainer had a huge impact on his career going forward was Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach. Obviously, when he hooked up with him, I think Manny Pacquiao was still raw, right? He was just still really like throwing that lead left. The main thing was the lead left. You could see when he started working with Roach, he developed throwing his right, throwing his those right hooks and shit, and so he got better in that sense. But yeah, I think when you're dealing with a really good guy who's just motivated all the time, he's just self-motivated. Those are easy guys to train.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. That's the great. Yeah, I think that's what Stu was getting at too. Like, because it's a strange relationship when you get a trainer and a fighter, especially at this level of the pro level. It's a lot of the fighter himself. The trainer can sort of give you the recipe, but if the fighter doesn't follow whatever, then it's a little different. For example, there's trainers out there who have proven to be solid trainers because they can take a guy and get the best out of them. Like Brendan Ingle. We were doing an episode one time on top trainers, and we said that Brendan Ingle was the archetype of a great trainer because he could take a guy who wasn't that gifted physically, whatever, but he could get the best out of them and make them a titleist or whatever. There was also that Argentinian guy too, a legendary Argentinian trainer. He was in his 90s, I believe, and he was still training people and getting the best out of them. So, that's the thing though. Reynoso remains to be seen because the last guy we had who had all this hype around him was Virgil Hunter. Remember after Ward beat up Chad Dawson and won the light heavyweight title, beat the light heavyweight champion. A lot of people were like, "Holy shit!" Berto, Khan, Angulo, they all went over with Virgil Hunter. And he never really got they sort of stalled him.
Yeah, he never got them going, yeah.
Yeah, Panterita Neri just left Reynoso, and he spoke about him. He says he's an excellent human being. He's a good person. He respects him a lot, but their styles didn't mesh. He didn't like how he was being trained by him, so he left. So he's not for everybody, obviously.
Look at Emmanuel Stewart, right? Emmanuel Stewart was great with like these tall guys with long arms. He can train guys like that and make them better fighters. He did it with Lennox Lewis. He did it with Vladimir Klitschko. Did he ever train Vitaly? I don't think he did. Right?
No.
He? Yeah, he was never in Vitaly's corner.
Yeah, that was the German dude or Ukrainian guy. I forget what his name is. But he was good too because you saw him all over the place. Everybody that was worth something from Ukraine or Germany, he was in there with him. But it's also interesting, like another guy that does appear to be a good guy who can be consistent is Robert Garcia. Because you always see him in the corner of somebody. You know what I mean? And he's not just a mercenary. Yeah. Right. But when you get a guy like Virgil Hunter and the Reynosos, it remains to be seen if Reynoso can actually continue to take other guys and get the best out of them. Like, he's still training Andy Ruiz, and who else does he have? Well, Andy Ruiz.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Oscar Valdez, Ryan Garcia. Pantera Neri just left him. Right. I'm talking about like just recently, the last few weeks. That's why I mentioned that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. So we'll see. Listen, 2 years from now, we'll see where he's at. But right now, this is one of the, like Bucho said, this is not just a test for Valdez. It's a test for Reynoso too, to see what he's got and whether he can take a good fighter and get him to beat Berchelt. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
Another scenario, PDA, is like, for example, I believe GGG was always a great fighter. He was a good fighter, even before he got to Abel Sanchez. But at one point, I thought, oh man, Abel Sanchez is the greatest thing that could have happened to the foreign-speaking Kazakhstan fighter. I mean, he was promoting them, he was speaking for him. But it got to a point after the second, or maybe even the first Canelo fight, that dynamic started changing, where maybe being in that high altitude. And after him saying the things that he did, the chemistry wasn't there that much anymore. So it depends on the relationship that you have. That relationship got ruined along the way because at one point I thought that Abel Sanchez was the best thing that could have happened to GGG.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point because Sanchez was another guy who was having a lot of momentum because of Triple G, and he had Gassiev. I believe he had Jason Velez when he was undefeated, and he looked like he was going to be able to become one of the best. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, he ended up like every time you have this big roster of fighters, they're going to end up losing a little bit, and that's when you're going to see, okay, can this guy, are his fighters going to stick with him first of all, and is he going to be able to get these guys to overcome their initial losses? Because look, every trainer eventually is going to have, like I said, if you got 15 good fighters, eventually they're going to start losing because they're fighting the best, right? This is world-class professional boxing. So with the Reynosos too, you're going to...
Absolutely. Imagine having 15 fighters and they all undefeated. You're like a fucking one. Like, what the fuck is going on over there?
Yeah, they got that Canelo meat in the tacos, man. But yeah, man, like it's impossible, man. It's impossible. Now, right, one thing I wanted to mention, because I don't know if you guys caught the Top Rank episodes that they did for this fight. First of all, they're really hyping up the Mexican angle. They're trying to say that, oh, these are two Mexicans, as if just because you get two Mexicans in there doesn't mean you're going to have a great fight. And like I said before, Berchelt, sometimes he's shown tendencies to box instead of slug, and he'll make the fights that you expect him to be entertaining, he'll make him a little less than entertaining. So there's also another aspect.
But Berchelt's not Mexican. He's from Chiapas.
Oh, come
on. People say that the people from Chiapas are not Mexican. They're Guatemalan. Because you can throw a tire and you can swim across the to another country.
Yeah, he definitely does look more South America. Like he looks Colombian.
So
actually.
he lives in the border of like Mexico and Honduras, huh?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean Guatemala. Excuse me, Guatemala, not Honduras. Yeah.
He's more. Yeah, he looks more. He's from the south, definitely from the south. But yeah, listen.
They wanted to separate at some point, you know.
The other thing about
he looks like he's from Honduras. Though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He looks Colombian, man. He looks like he should be wearing one of those straw hats, but instead of a sombrero. But here's the thing: in the previews that they were doing, there seems to be an indication that there's a little bit of bad blood between both guys. Valdez said that this fight was already postponed twice because Berchelt caught COVID, and he blames Berchelt for not taking care of certain things or certain precautions because he's seeing him in baseball games or out in public. He says that's irresponsible. That's why he's catching COVID, because he's not being careful. Berchelt answered back by saying, I don't care what he thinks of me. We're going to settle in the ring. So, fellas, do you think that this bad blood...
I'm going to kill you for that statement.
Yeah, but actually, yeah, obviously, it's not that. It's not like the biggest beef in the world, but there does seem to be a little animosity in there. So, do you guys think that this could actually maybe indicate that they will go to war?
I hope so, because just for that statement alone, I hope he gets his fucking face broken. Me personally, that's just me personally. I would take it. I would take it personal that this scrub is brainwashed or whatever. But obviously Berchelt must be too, because he's over there. Well, he has to get tested, right? He's a boxer and shit. So
yeah, it's just one of those scenarios where it's kind of like in the United States, East Coast, West Coast. Similar to like when the two Mexicans and Barrera and Morales fought. One from the capital, one from the border town, and those guys usually have a history where they hate each other. One guy's from the peninsula, Yucatan Peninsula, over where I mentioned, and the other guy's from Sonora. One of my favorite, some of my favorite fighters come from that area. It's a desert. They're very far apart. So it's like an East Coast, West Coast thing. I don't know, like I mentioned. So, man, I don't know what Canelo's speaking about. I never want to fight no Mexicans, man. Because he's really ruined when, it's been something that's been done in the past.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a dumb comment. I don't know what he's smoking down there. I mean, down there in Mexico. Speaking of Mexico, yeah, I'm looking at here, but apparently Berchelt was actually born in Cancun, so I don't know why he would move away from Cancun. Yeah, so right there, like you said, peninsula. Nevertheless, like you guys were saying, hey, but yeah, okay, so recognize. So is it safe to
Mexicano?
Puro Mexicano say? Is it safe to assume that you're going to be rooting against Valdez because of that comment he made propagating what you? Yeah.
Yes, 100%. I'm gonna be rooting for Berchelt to break his mouth for talking that shit.
Oh, geez, Luis.
Nah, I'm just kidding. I mean, listen, yeah, I was going for Berchelt anyway. I like him. I like you said, man. Sometimes he could brawl with you and knock you out, or he could just outbox you, play it safe, break you down, and then stop you. So he could do a little bit of of everything. Remember, Berchelt got knocked out before, so he knows what it's like. It was many years ago. I think he might have been struggling with weight. I don't know what the fuck the situation was, but he got in the ring with some dude, and dude knocked him out like in the first round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was 6 years ago, I believe. Now, to that point, recognize, I'm looking at Ring Magazine here. They're doing the expert pick 18-1, meaning 18 people are picking Berchelt and only one is going for Valdez. And one says draw, apparently. One thinks it's going to be a tie, but everybody else...
Okay,
Berchelt,
so out of 20, 18 people think Berchelt is going to win the fight.
That's right. And most of them are saying stoppage.
Yeah.
Michael Montero's
that doesn't guarantee you anything. It doesn't guarantee you that it's going to happen that way, but I think they see what most people see.
The only one who picked Valdez is Montero versus Valdez by points. Look, I think I think he's got tools to pull off an upset if he comes in with the perfect game plan. But other than that, it seems like Berchelt really does have more intangibles that could lead to him to being the victor.
I think Berchelt has to be careful with Valdez for the first 3 rounds, that he don't get dropped. There's a good chance he could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Valdez
He's got that left hook.
He brings that heat,
That left hook of Valdez, it's a potent weapon. He can take anybody out.
Yeah.
Like I said,
he's got to step in close because he throws a lot of hooks. So he's got to step in. He's got to close the distance and get close enough to land those left and right hooks with authority. He gets really he really likes to throw a lot of hooks. Mm-hmm. So I do expect him, to trade, right? So I expect him to get inside. And also you got to think that if 18-1, most people are thinking that he's gonna lose. He's got to feel some pressure that he's got to go in and make it into a fight, right? Because he's already down on the scorecards. Mm-hmm. Right, he's already thinking that the judges are against him.
You think so? You think he thinks the judges are against him? Or he's gonna think that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. But now, here's where the interesting question comes in too, because these are 2 top junior lightweights, and we know the lightweight division itself, just 5 pounds above that, is really clicking right now. So there's a hope that maybe the winner of this one could potentially move up at one point. But there's also a bunch of other guys, like you got Joseph Diaz, who just fought this Saturday, although, again, disappointing in the fact that he couldn't make weight. You got Shakur Stevenson, Jamel Herring, whose fight against Frampton just got postponed. Rene Alvarado, who looks like a skinny version of one of the bad guys from Time Cup. You got Rakimov, who can crack. Chris Colbert, who looks very flashy. And then you got Gervonta Tank Davis. So let me ask Stu. Stu, you've always been one of the guys that says, yeah, Tank Davis is a dick, a prick, but he can fight, he can crack, he's dangerous. And if it's 100% Tank Davis who's motivated, very hard to stop him. So who would you rather see win this fight so that they can take on Tank Davis in a perfect world? Would you rather see Valdez Tank Davis or Berchelt Tank Davis?
Oh, Berchelt, without doubt. Tank Davis will batter Valdez. That's just because Valdez, like I keep saying, get dragged into a war with Tank. That's where Tank's at his best. In that pocket, in mid-range, throwing them bombs. Yeah, I think Berchelt is going to be a harder stylistically for Tank. I think Valdez suits him style-wise, and it'd be a terrible night for him if Valdez wins that one, that's for sure.
Well, I don't know about terrible, but I mean, look, Montero's the only one over there in that census that picked Valdez. I don't think it's that crazy a prediction. But at the end of the day...
Montero wants to be edgy.
You think so?
I'm an edgy guy.
Hey, man, listen, if he gets it right, man,
we're
going to send you over there to his column, and you're gonna have to be in the comment section saying, I'm sorry, I doubted you.
I'm gonna be like, hey, Montero, remember I'm the guy that tried to send you the information about the nonsense he was proving you wrong. Remember me? I'm calling to say, I'm calling to be the bigger man and say, hey, man, you got it right.
Are you talking about the Povetkin fight?
Yeah.
Well, that was before my time, so I don't think.
No. I'm just saying he would know who I am.
Right.
He'd be like, oh, you're the guy that was trying to send me that information. Yeah, I know.
Hey, by the way, I just heard Gonzalo said, Gonzalo, did you just say you're picking Valdez?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not to say that I think that Berchelt's overrated. I think he just starts a little bit too slow. And if Valdez comes like well prepared conditioning wise and strength wise, I mean, he's got he. I do believe he puts combinations together better. And the one reason that I'm picking him, he got a lot of heart. I'm gonna believe that he got a lot of heart.
Yeah, he does have a lot of heart, man, for sure. The thing is, I don't know. Do you guys think? I don't know if you guys saw the videos we did about Valdez, Berchelt, the film analysis. And one thing I mentioned was that Valdez tends to slap a little bit. It's always hook, 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 hook. Berchelt is a guy who's a little bit more crude, but he mixes up his punches better. What do you guys think? Do you think Valdez, that's one of his problems? He tends to slap a little bit too much?
A lot of boxers do that, man. He's one of them. Sometimes he slaps too much. When you slapping a guy, that's not really doing anything. They might score it as a point, but that's not doing anything. And eventually, like when you're fighting a guy like Berchelt, who's landing knuckle, it's gonna make a difference. It's gonna make a big difference, right? If you're throwing slaps at him, he might sit there when you're throwing one of your hooks. He might sit there, let you catch one, so he can counterpunch you with a big shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Right. So if I'm fighting a guy who's just slapping, he's just slapping. Okay, sometimes it stings, and sometimes I get annoyed, and I start getting his rhythm down. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna line this dude up. I'm gonna let him come in, so I can catch him with an overhand right counter or uppercut. If he's bending his head down while he's throwing those hooks, those slapping hooks, yeah, I'll be willing to stand there and take it.
Yeah, that's what happened essentially. Did you see the
Just so I
Cervania
can
fight?
sit on my punch, right?
Well, that's why. Did you see the Cervania fight when he fought that strong Filipino guy who was undefeated?
Yes. I didn't even know his name, but yes, I saw that when you said Filipino.
That was essentially what happened there. Like Valdez would crack him every once in a while, but for the most part, Cervania would just boom, stay tight, turtle shell defense, and the slaps would go, past his guard. And obviously, couldn't have felt good, but he was surviving. He wasn't getting taken out of there. So maybe Berchelt could do something like that.
Boxing is science, man. Boxing is science. Guy slapping at you. He's throwing some knuckle punches. Obviously, you gotta be a little bit on your feet. You can still catch him with a nice counter shot, but you gotta be on your feet, right? A little bit. You gotta be on your toes. Guy slapping at you, and you starting to realize that most of his punches are slaps. You can sit on your punches now.
Exactly.
When he's coming in, especially when he's coming in,
But that's the thing, though. This guy, Berchelt, he's not that much of a counterpuncher, though.
No, he's not. You're right. He's one of those guys that sometimes when he fought Sosa, he did everything, right? Because then again, maybe Sosa was just fucking done at that point. But I saw him do a little bit of everything, counterpunching. He didn't really, he didn't really have, but no, he did counterpunch in that fight because again, Sosa was just so fucking bad, and maybe with Berchelt he just saw a lot of openings, but no, he's not a counterpuncher. He's really not, but that doesn't mean he can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, look, that Sosa fight, it was a destruction of the highest order. Yeah. Considering that Sosa had gone, what was it, 12 rounds against Nicholas Walters, and that he knocked out Fortuna, Javier Fortuna.
Yep.
And then he
got beat really bad by Lomachenko. I think his corner ended up stopping the fight, like, I want to say the 8th or the 9th round, some shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something. I think it was the 8th or 9th. So he's in good company, Berchelt. Is that the only Lomachenko's been managed to stop Sosa? And by the way, Lomachenko never actually had Sosa completely down and out, whereas
Sosa's been stopped even before Lomachenko. It was like early in his career, I believe. And I think he might have been fighting just bigger guys at that time. And but Sosa was solid, right? He was coming. He proved himself to be one of those guys that could put, Fortuna at that time, people forget, was like ranked pretty high. What was he like? At 130. This is at 130. When he beat Fortuna was ranked pretty high when Sosa knocked him out.
Was he?
I think he was in top 5.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I think so. It was.
I
It
don't
was
remember exactly where he was in the rank, but he was up there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way, fellas, phone lines are open if you want to call in. Give us your thoughts on this fantastic fight we got coming up on Saturday. Let's get some predictions then. Well, recognize you already said you got Berchelt stoppage. Stu, how about yourself, man? Who? Well, I think you already indirectly said that before, but like official pick, who would you go with this Saturday? All right, let's bypass Stu for the moment.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry.
That's okay. That's good.
Berchelt knockout. I was going to say round 9.
Round 9. All right. That seems like a sensible prediction.
Valdez is tough enough to he ain't going to just get blasted out there. I just think in the end, I think Berchelt will catch up to him. But yeah, 9th round stoppage.
You just reminded me of something I wanted to mention. Valdez is well conditioned. He does get tired because he tends to swing and miss way too much. But the fact that he went the distance and beat Quigg, who was bigger than him, and Valdez had a fractured jaw, that's conditioning right there, and balls. So you're right. I don't expect a early stoppage. Gonzalo, how about yourself, man? What's your prediction?
I'm gonna pick Valdez 9th round TKO.
Valdez 9th round TKO. All right. Piggybacking off Stu there, or is it because you feel it's the?
No, I just had that in mind even before Stu said that. One thing, BDA, about him slapping, do you think maybe he slaps because he doesn't want to like fully like ball up his fist and throw with conviction knowing that he's going to miss? Since you said he missed, it just made me think maybe by slapping, by not really balling up your fist and throwing slaps, you're trying to like trying to get a good distance, and when you get the good distance, then you really commit to your punches because you don't want to be throwing heavy shots and missing because that'll tire you out more. Maybe that's why he slaps sometimes. But when he slaps and connects, then he'll connect with conviction and really ball up his fist.
That could
be a bad habit too.
Starting to worry about my pick now. Gonzalo makes good picks, so I don't know.
Damn. All right. So okay. So Gonzalo's going with Valdez 9th round. Stu's going with Berchelt 9th round. So it's the same round, different fighters. Bucho, what about yourself, man?
Oh my God.
Come on.
I'm gonna go with a decision. I don't know who's gonna win the decision though. Leaning towards Berchelt, but I'm telling you, people are underestimating Valdez.
It's like Bucho didn't want to give his pick.
Exactly.
I don't want to give a pick, but
this is the same guy. This is the same guy.
And I think it's gonna be a war. I think the first 3 rounds might be a little bit like nothing's really happening, but then Valdez is gonna get dragged into a full-on out war. Is there a crowd? Because I think this is important.
I don't think so. I don't. Actually, you know what? We got Mark on the line. If he should know. Mark, thank you for being on, man. Are you aware of if there's going to be a crowd for this fight?
If it is, it's minimal.
All right. Yeah.
Right. Well, where's the fight at? Where's the fight at?
Let me check. It's in.
Isn't it?
We don't even know.
Oh no, it's the bubble. Yeah, it's the bubble at the MGM. So I don't think.
Why not? Why are people not following what Canelo is basically doing? Canelo's basically let it be known, like if there's no crowd, I'm not coming to you. I'm not going over there.
Yeah, but there's 2 options: Texas and Florida. Right now, Texas, they're freezing
Texas
over there.
Yeah, there's some shit going on in Texas right now.
I think there are a bunch of the Mexicans turned Eskimos over there. I mean, it's they're supposedly they're freezing over there. I don't know. I'm over here. It's nice and toasty here in Canada. We're always ready for the cold because it's obvious, we're gonna get that cold. Mark, we're gonna keep talking.
Too hot in Florida. Yeah, go ahead, Billy. It's too hot to fight there.
I don't know about that, especially with 2 Mexicans on there. But Mark, we're gonna keep talking about the fight, but I just wanted to get some predictions out of the way. Well, what's your prediction for Berchelt Valdez this Saturday?
Berchelt round 11.
Oh, all right. So he's adding a little bit, 2 more rounds there, just for posterity. Do you think it's gonna live up to the hype? Because I'm hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's 2 Mexicans. They're gonna get it on." Do you think that has? Do you think that's true?
I think it's gonna have a lot of different phases in it. like at the beginning, I think the first round will be a bit cagey from Valdez. Berchelt will try and open up a bit more in the second, third, and fourth round. Valdez will be looking for counter punches. He may land on him and hurt him a bit and go for the finish, but Berchelt will fight him off. As the rounds go on, he's going to outwork Valdez probably in around 8 or 9. He's going to probably take a knee, and Berchelt will probably TKO on 10 or 11.
Do you think Valdez can drop Berchelt?
Yes, of course.
Well, there you go.
Of course. I don't think Berchelt has the greatest chin out there, and I think anybody who says Valdez can't win, they're underestimating his toughness and overestimating Berchelt's. Berchelt is tough and he's very aggressive, but when you're fighting a counter puncher, being ultra aggressive can be your downfall.
Well, listen.
Hey,
yep.
Yeah, Valdez can hurt Berchelt. Go ahead.
I was thinking Valdez could be dangerous to him, especially the first 3 rounds, man. That could be real dangerous for him. I'm talking about the chances of him getting dropped.
He's gonna be moving a lot, I think, and jabbing up and down. A little bit like that quick fight.
Mark, can you hear me?
What's up, Stu? Yeah,
okay,
I hear you.
Brother, sorry about earlier when I was on the phone. When I was speaking to you, dropped my fucking phone because I was in the Audi garage, weren't I? I dropped. I dropped my phone when they hit me with a $5 bill.
Oh,
man.
Jesus Christ! No wonder you dropped your phone.
Police, nigga. I've damaged the front diff on my fucking car, and Audi said $5,000. I said, "You having a fucking laugh, man?" So I've rang up the main Audi, and hopefully, when it's been diagnosed by them, they said they'll foot the bill. But if not, I'm going to be fucking 5 bags out of pocket, and that's why I nearly had a heart attack and dropped my phone. So I wasn't being rude, brother.
Is it because you are those jeans of you too tight, cutting off your circulation when you press on the pedal or in the brakes? What's going on?
The funny thing is, these girls don't have no problems getting these jeans off, mate. Don't you worry about that.
Oh man, that was a good one.
That's the worst thing, though, isn't it? That's the worst thing when you're fucking getting all kinky with your missus and stuff, and you can't get your fucking jeans off because of that time.
That's why I only wear.
Proper kill the motor. Hey, innit? Proper kill the motor. Sitting there having a play next minute. Grab these trousers and pull them off my ankles. I can't get them off. You know what I mean? Fuck.
That's why I only wear shorts and no underwear, like Eddie Hearn. That's the way I roll.
BJ just wears a dressing gown with no underwear underneath.
Dressing gown. Come on.
You gentlemen should invest in jorts.
What is that? Jorts? Oh, jeans.
Shorts or jean shorts. Yes, because all of the women look metrosexual men these days.
That you do have a point there, but it's kind of gone out of style. Like the only guys that wear them are like those metrosexuals.
They wear them with
like I said, metrosexuals for some reason are what's in.
Yeah, the male prostitutes in Chelsea over there in New York. That's where they wear those shorts there. But no, you're not gonna catch me doing.
Can I just reply to Brandon quickly? Can I just reply to Brandon quickly because it's typing shit pisses me off. Now, basically, I have to use them because it's a newish car, and Audi. What Audi do? They won't supply parts to the mechanics and other people until a certain age of the car. So I'm stuck where I have to go to Audi. You know, I've got no choice. So I just wanted to get out of the way because I didn't want to type all that.
Fast car, right? They run smooth too.
Not at the moment, and it's running like fucking chitty chitty. It's running like chitty chitty bang bang at the moment. Get out.
All right. By the way, we got people waiting on the phone lines. Let's go to one phone call right here, real quick, and then we'll continue talking about Berchelt, Valdez. Very interesting, and some of the other fights. 226, you're on the air. 226. What's on your mind?
Oh, Jesus.
You guys know who it is. It's the bully. The bully's in town.
Oh, boy.
The bully. Everybody's
the real nobody.
Slugger. Who let the slugger out? Who let the slugger out? Who?
And how can we put him back in? That's the more important question.
Right now.
How can we put him back in? That's the most important question. But
who let this bum out?
Who let the bum out?
Jeez. All right. We
hey,
got.
You guys are all pooping it. Listen, fellas. I could talk about the fight if you want. I got no problem. But I just wanted to make it very clear. Everybody's pooping in their pants when Slugger joined. Everybody's shaking on their boots.
All right. First of all, are you talking on the speakerphone? Because if you are, please get rid of it and speak directly into your receiver, please, or transceiver rather. because the speakerphone kills us, man. We can't hear you.
Hold on. Is that better? Is that better? BDM?
That's actually worse.
Yeah, you're terrible.
How about now? Is that better?
Yeah, let's go with
Worse.
Is that better?
Yeah, let's pretend it is. Listen.
God damn it! I told my mother to fucking get the new phone. I'm sorry, BDA. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, first of all, don't swear and don't swear in the same sentence you mention your mother. Come on, that's disrespectful. But listen, Slugger, Berchelt Valdez, is it gonna live up to the hype, and who are you picking?
You know what? Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know, I don't think it's gonna live up to the hype because listen, we've been hyping the past year. We've been hyping every fight. I'm getting sick and tired of it, BDA. Every fight and no fight lived up to the hype. So I'm sick and tired of this conversation. You know, the only fight that gave me excitement was that fucking Englishman knocking out the guy from Alabama. Wilder versus Fury. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, he knocked out Mr. Right Hand, right? Right?
I think so,
That
yeah.
was the only
Last time
exciting
I checked.
fight. That was the only exciting fight I've seen since, Mike Tyson pushed Lennox Lewis at that press conference. That was the most exciting fight in the past 19 years.
So what was your answer?
What's it been?
So what was your answer? I missed it.
Saying no.
Oh, no.
Based on the
I'm
odds.
saying no, it's not going to live up to the hype. Listen, it's not going to live up to the hype. Listen, I've told you guys before, but you think it's a joke, okay? You want to see some cool shit? You put me and Wilder in the street together, make sure all the cops are away. No cop is in the area. And Wilder, you're going to count your fucking
dead.
blessings, man.
I think.
I'll be dead, recognize?
No. I think Slug actually looks like he could potentially. He's so crazy that maybe he could. Because you saw what Charlie Zelenoff did. What?
That'd be 3 hits, right? Wilder hits Slugger Sam. Slugger Sam hits the canvas.
Dies.
Ambulance hits 80. That's it.
Yeah, bye. All right, buddy. Good talking to you.
Listen. In a street fight, there ain't no 1-2, 1-2. Everything goes, man. I'm gonna lift Wilder from his knees, and I'm gonna plow his head into the cement, man.
All right.
Done so.
All right, listen.
Hey, mate, if Wilder caught you on your chin, mate, you'd have a computer keeping you alive.
Listen, man.
You have a breathing machine
Wilder's
breathing
not
for you.
gonna catch me. Wilder's not
Why
gonna
are you
touch
even
me.
talking about
Wilder's
this?
not gonna touch me.
All right, yeah. Listen, Slugger, we got a lot to get to. We got other callers. So, what's your prediction?
Yeah,
Valdez,
bye.
Berchelt.
We'll talk to you later. Goodbye, buddy.
And that's it.
My prediction is war. I want war. That's my prediction.
Hey,
I
Slugger,
agree.
does the loser have to get back to Mexico? Gets thrown over the border?
Well, you know what, man? Not really, but I'll be honest, man. I'd love to go to Mexico right now because it kind of sucks here in Canada. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, I agree right now with the snow, man.
Canada won't miss you. I have a feeling Canada won't miss you.
I'll tell you what. Hear me out. Well, you know what? Recognize. You know what, man? You know what? Recognize. I go to Queens. I go to Corona. I go to Lafrac. I go to Jamaica, Queens.
Left rack.
I go all over your borough, and I run your borough. Recognize. I run your borough.
All right. Listen, Slugger. If you want to go to Mexico,
you, buddy. Bye.
Slugger, talk to your FBI agents, the ones that help you out. Maybe they can get you into the witness protection over there in Mexico. So.
BDA, you calling me a snitch now?
I didn't say that.
Now?
I said talk to your Fed contacts so maybe they can get you witness protection over there in Mexico. That's all I'm saying. I'm giving you suggestions. I'm trying to help you out. What's the matter with you?
Get the hell out of here.
We're hugging and kissing over here, and then you start to get fresh with me. What's the matter with you?
They usually send the snitches to Arizona, so it'd probably be next door to Sammy the Bull Gravano or something like that.
Hold on, Stu. Hold on a sec. Hold on.
Jeez.
I don't care about you, Stu, and I don't care about you, Recognize, but B-Day, you just hurt my feelings. Say sorry.
I'm not gonna say that because I'm busting your balls, so you should know better than that. But I will tell you what. I'm gonna thank you for your phone call. I'm gonna thank you for your phone call. It was very entertaining. but much better than the last one, that's for sure.
Apologize right now. Apologize right now.
All right. I don't know how to do that, though. Not to you, anyway. But listen, Saga, thank you for your call, man. Really appreciate it.
Sorry for taking your call. Bye.
I'll give you my prediction. I'll give you
You
my
already
prediction,
gave it.
BDA. It's me knocking Recognize the fuck out.
No.
That's my prediction.
All right. Well, Recognize, you're probably underestimating Slugger Sam because he sounds a little bit like Tommy Gunn, the bare knuckle Canadian champion.
Wait, listen, BDA, before you hang up, serious question. I'm not lying. But look, I don't know why I feel like you and Bucho look like Sergey Kovalev. Am I correct?
Yes,
Sergey
you're right.
Kovalev. I got a better chin than he does. That's for sure.
But you guys look anything like him, though. Why am I picturing that?
Well, I do wear a T-shirt that could be considered racist. So yeah, maybe we do have that in common, man.
BDA looks like Vladimir Klitschko. Bucho looks like Gabriel Ruelas.
Jeez, Luis, I sound like Vladimir Klitschko, but I don't look anything like him, man. Come on now. And you know I hate Vladimir Klitschko, so you have to go with that motherfucker. All right, listen, Slugger, we got to go, man. We got to go. Slugger, we got to go. So thank you.
You've been running your mouth too much about me. You've been running your mouth too much.
Let's go.
All right, Slugger, thank you for your call. We'll catch you in the next one. Good call this time, man.
We love you,
the last
Slugger.
time was good call, man. Good call. Good call, Slugger. Thank you for calling in, man.
You guys are great. I love yous.
We love you too, man.
Oh, you're great.
Take it easy. Thank you for calling.
See yous.
That was a good call. Last time it was maybe because I was tired or something. I was a little impatient, but yeah, there's one nice, smooth call. He got everything he wanted to say out of the way, and he got it out quickly. I should say, not out of the way. So
he usually hurts my ears, but this time he was all right, I guess.
He wants to fight you, but what the guy's fucking insane. All right. Kane Dingle in the chat says Bucho looks North African.
Bucho looks like Eric Estrada, bro.
Yeah, he does a little bit. Huh? He looks like a mix between Estrada and George Lopez a little bit, that's for sure. All right, listen. We're getting back to this Berchelt Valdez fight. So almost everybody, well, with the exception of Gonzalo, who's going with the upset, he's going with Valdez. Yeah. But Gonzalo, I gotta tell you, man, it's interesting to watch this type of fight, which is almost everybody's speaking Berchelt, but they still think it's gonna be competitive. So there wouldn't be a surprise to see Valdez pull. In other words, what I'm trying to ask here is, would you be surprised if Valdez pulls it off?
No, it's like Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. says, lost bullets exist. Las balas perdidas existen. I mean, you get errant rounds that, shot can come out of nowhere and knock you out. And I think Valdez just ring up his combinations. And he's not, Berchelt's not like an American boxer that's going to try to get away from those left, right combinations that Valdez repeatedly throws. So we know he knows what's coming at him. But they're going to trade. That's where the word trading comes in. When you're giving, but then you're also receiving. It's not that they lack defense. It's just to get into position to punch, you got to risk because the other guy's going to get his shots off after you're finished throwing yours. So they're going to trade, and he throws left, right, left combinations, and I think that even though Berchelt knows that they're coming, he might get clipped with one of those punches. He does mix up good body shots as well. Throws a lot of hooks.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
He's a little faster, too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
on the inside.
You know what? Now you're making me overthink things like I usually do. So let me get a different perspective. Let me go to Mark. Mark, what is it about Berchelt? Because he's fought, like I keep saying, he's fought different types of styles, but he's never actually fought anybody with the pedigree of Valdez. I mean, say what you want about the guy, Valdez. He's not the greatest amateur or whatever. He wasn't the greatest amateur, but he does a lot more technical things than Berchelt can. So what do you think about this fight? Do you think Berchelt can actually get a box in there?
I think he could because he's not like the best technical boxer, but at the same point, I don't think Valdez has enough accumulation anymore. Since the quick fight, he's lowered his amount of volume by a factor of 2, according to CompuBox anyway. So he's thrown nearly half, or about 2/3 of what he used to throw. And Berchelt is high volume and constantly aggressive, and I think people would just say like where he is, not throwing enough shots, not getting away from shots, being caught clean quite a lot now, Valdez, since his move up to 130. Being in there with someone like Berchelt, who not only hits really hard, and he's a big-time workhorse. He works his ass off.
That's interesting, yeah, because Berchelt said that he was in the build up to the Top Rank put on YouTube, and he said, "Well, look, I don't know if I train harder than Valdez, but I can tell you I do train my ass off." Not that was a clever answer there, because sometimes people will say immediately they'll say, "Oh yeah, I train harder than anybody, than everybody." Blah blah blah. He said, "Look, I don't know how he trains, but I can guarantee you I'm training my ass off." So, Berchelt, I mean, the combinations he throws, man. Like I was rewatching for that film analysis I did. I was rewatching the Sosa fight and the Vargas fight. When he goes to the body, man, and you're watching the fight with sound,
right back upstairs too, man.
But the sound of his shots, it's a beauty to hear, man. Mustn't be too beautiful to feel, but
he throws a lot of torque in those shots. I saw that video. One thing, look, that's interesting to me when a fighter have you guys ever been sparring where you can throw your lead uppercut? It's not the power uppercut, it's the lead punch where you can catch the other fighter really easy. I mean, it's really easy if you just throw a little thrust in that lead punch where you can pop the other guy's head up. But you see with Berchelt, not only does he surprise his opponents, he really puts a lot of leverage under it. It's almost like a trail uppercut. Gets a lot of power, and I just wonder, how does he do that? It's awkward, but he got the leverage and he does it. Power uppercut with that hand.
It's also strength, man. Everybody always likes to say, "Oh, strength. You don't need to be strong in boxing." BS, man. That can help. But before we get to that, we got a phone call here, and then I want to continue talking about the strength factor. 262, you're on the air. 262. What's on your mind?
Hey there, fellas. What's going on? Bucho,
oh, geez. For a second, I thought it was Slugger Sam again, and I was like, "Oh boy, round 2." How you doing, Johnny boy? What's on your mind?
No, it's the actual Italian, not the fake one. But but what's going on? So here, this is what's going to happen. This is a one-sided beatdown. It won't look anything like Barrera and Morales. You're all, not you guys, but everybody's polishing a fucking turd. Top Rank's polishing a turd. It's going to be a one-sided fucking destruction. Berchelt's going to knock him out in 5 or 6 rounds. Easy done. Oscar Valdez hasn't looked the same since Scott Quick broke his face. I don't give a fuck if fucking Gremlin Reynoso's training him or not. He ain't looked the same. He had a fucking hard time with Adam Lopez. He had a hard time with Jason Velez, who's got 8 fucking losses. He ain't fucking lasting with Berchelt. Berchelt's going to wear him down and put him away.
I get everything you're saying, Johnny boy. To Valdez's credit, though, when we're talking about his punching power, he did stop Lopez and Velez. And Ryan Garcia couldn't stop Velez. So at least we know Oscar Valdez is yeah.
No, well, I was just going to say the Adam Lopez stoppage was a little bit of a fugazi, but
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
true.
I
mean, just saying. But the other fight that I'm interested in this weekend is actually fucking Valine in Brazil. I hope Valine knocks that 48-year-old football player the fuck out.
Okay, come on.
He hasn't fought. The kid didn't start boxing until he was 29. Until he was my age. One half of us up here have been doing it since we were fucking 6. So get that fucking retard. Excuse my language. Get that moron. Sorry, BDA. Get that fucking Momo the fuck up out of here. I'm sick of hearing about him. I'm sick of hearing his mouth and fuck all that. So I hope Wallin beats the shit out of him.
Maybe just the OBS. All right. Well, hold on a second.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, no. Wait, hold on. Let me just tell people in the chat to refresh if you're stalling, because I don't know if I got a message saying we were offline. All right, Johnny boy, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, maybe I shouldn't say it. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise not to say this joke on the air. But so Johnny boy, so you're picking Berchelt, you're picking Wallin. How about the Broner fight? I don't even know who Broner's fighting. But No.
Here's what's gonna happen. Broner's fighting some dude from Nicaragua that they paid $800 to fly in and come fight. That'll also be a fucking mismatch, and then all these morons, all these casual dickheads that don't know a thing will be go, "Ooh, look at bro, AB's back, dog," and then he'll go slap another chick at a bar, have another sexual assault charge, and lose all his money again. Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, Johnny, his name is Giovanni Santiago. He's Puerto Rican, and he goes by El Lobito. That's his nickname. Honest to God.
Well, anybody.
He actually does
listen,
go by El
named-
Lobito.
Anybody named Giovanni, I'm going to root for, especially when it's against a punk ass piece of shit like Broner. So, anybody named Giovanni, I'm going to root for regardless. So.
Yeah, but it's Giovanni
all
spelled.
right, fellas,
it's spelled Jovanie. It's not like Giovanni.
It's Giovanni. Yeah.
Fake Giovanni. Fake Giovanni.
Real quick before I let you go, Mark, I got to talk to you later. Message me on the Discord after a while if you get a chance, brother.
Ooh, shenanigans.
Yeah, no worries.
No.
Gossiping.
Yeah, okay, all right. But hey guys, well, God bless you all. Enjoy the fights this weekend. I hope it's a great fight. I love Oscar Valdez. I hope he wins. I hope he pulls off the upset. I do, because I like Valdez, but I just think Berchelt's a little bit too much for him. So that's my take anyway, guys. But I hope everybody enjoys the fight this weekend. God bless, fellas. Take care.
You too, man. Take it easy out there, Johnny boy.
All right.
Thank you for calling in. All right, so the trend continues. Most people picking Berchelt to win the fight. And I got to tell you, I was going to say the thing about strength. If anybody's got anything to say about that, anything to add about strength, because I'm interested in hearing what you got to say. And also, I got to dip out for about...
Strength is key, man. Strength is the key when it comes to boxing. You have to have good stamina, obviously, and strength comes with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely. In that video there, the top rank video, you see Berchelt actually weight training. So it's not like he's just a naturally strong guy, which he might be, but he's also trying to add on to that. Listen, I got to dip out for 2 minutes, so you guys do a free-for-all on Berchelt Valdez, and then if there's nothing left to say, then we'll move on to something else. But you guys take control here.
Yeah, especially if you combine strength with heavy hands, because you got a guy like Sean Porter who can bulldoze in there, and he's strong to push another fighter back. But he must not be that heavy-handed, because when he's landing, sometimes his mother was his word, but when he's landing, he's not really knocking guys out of there. So when you're strong, but then you got heavy hands, you're really pushing an object. You're pushing an object hard, and that object hits heavy. So, man, that's what I got to say about Berchelt's lead uppercut.
Yeah. His uppercut is good, man. Good work. It gets good results, especially, man, when he's like fucking landing. The thing is that he lands right on he lands on the target. He usually always does. I like when he goes to the body and he comes back upstairs. That shit is like, yeah, it's pretty good work. He's open. He's kind of open, so he's got to be careful with Valdez. But I think Berchelt's gonna make a statement in this fight.
Yeah, we'll see how the styles, the stances line up, you know. If sometimes people say, oh, well, the styles mesh good. In hindsight, when you see a fight and the aftermath, you would think to yourself, man, yeah, they meshed well in the ring. But do you ever really want to go into a fight wanting to mesh with your opponent? Maybe sometimes that hand is catching you all night, but it's a product of something that you can't really get away from. So it's interesting to see how they line up against each other, because I don't think that they're gonna give anything away. I think, maybe sometimes fighters carry each other if they want to give something for the fans. But at some point, you gotta think these guys hit it hard enough that they can hurt each other. You don't want to go giving everything away for free, because once they start getting tired, one guy's gonna seize the fight and throw a punch that's gonna hurt the other guy with mean intentions. He might not let his opponent know right away. You know, he might be like what's the word? That, you know, you're making the other guy feel comfortable that you can take his shots, and you're making him think that he can take yours. But all of a sudden, Berchelt could have something in the tank where he says, I'm going to really dig deep and throw something with power.
Yeah,
or about this good.
Hey, Gonzalo, you're on about false sense of security, aren't you?
Yeah. That's why I'm mentioning Cesar Bazan. Some of those fighters it's like a trap. You're basically setting a trap.
This is why you have to. This is why you have to change up your pace and change up the pace and the punches, change the rhythm, and throw a few throwaway shots, but then come behind one with a big one. You've got to get people. If you keep loading up on every one of your shots, these guys are going to start reading you quickly, and they're going to know what's coming, and they're going to get out of the way. You've got to shock them with the punches, because, like I said, it's the ones that you don't expect coming, the ones that hurt you, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Now, I mentioned earlier that they might be extra pressure for each fighter to actually put on a good performance because of the whole Mexican thing that they're promoting. I don't know if you recognize I don't know if you were here or Mark, but what do you guys think about that? Like, can they fall for that?
I think I think nationalistic pride can always take a big part in a fight. And I could see both guys getting lured into it and over committing on a lot of things just to make it like to kind of fall into the stereotypes, I guess, of Mexico equals war. You know, so that could actually happen. And if it does, I don't know who that benefits more. Because in one sense, Berchelt could go in there looking to take Valdez's head off and go crazy and like I'm the ultra Mexican, and then Valdez could just be like slipping, catch him with a crazy shot and take his head off.
I think you're right there, Mark. I think when it comes to when Mexicans are fighting, it's like they have to put on a show and have to. It's a machismo thing, isn't it? But like getting the better of your countryman, but it's a Mexican mindset where you have to go to war, put on a show, even when especially when it's another Mexican. It's just it has to. You know, if you go in there, we've got Mexicans watching, and you sit there and fight like Miguel Vasquez, then yeah, you're not going to go far in Mexico like that. You know,
no.
So all these fighters, it's in their head because they're Mexican. They have to get into a war, and they need to get away from that. Then, you know, at the end of the day, they're in there to look after themselves. They're not in there to look after anyone else. It's like going to war with someone, but you're the one taking the fucking shots. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like it's more likely that Berchelt will fall into it than Valdez, just because we've seen right now also with Canelo, what he's doing with him. Like he'll be a good ear, he'll be a good voice in his ear to be like, don't come in here. Don't fall into it. He's trying to get you into this war. It's not going to do you good. Make him walk onto shit. Work with him.
That's a great point. That's a great point because Berchelt can counter. So I'm thinking maybe if Valdez tries to push him back, maybe that could work. But it could definitely work if Valdez can catch him in between his shots. Because one thing about Berchelt is he leaves his chin up in the air like a mongoloid. When he's throwing his shots, he drops his hands. If you change levels on him, and actually, I think I might be showing a couple of GIFs the day before the fight, just if things are nice and fresh and hyped up, just to illustrate what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen it already, fellas, in the chat room, go watch the film analysis with the 2 parts. I break it down there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that punching in between his shots, that could actually catch him. So Brotherhood's actually in the chat room. He's picking Valdez by knockout. So Gonzalo, are you thinking of rethinking your pick or?
I take it. Valdez is the darker one out of the two. Then
actually, Berchelt is. I'm gonna shock.
Yeah, Berchelt is the darker one.
I'm just messing. I'm just messing.
I think what Valdez has to be careful for. Valdez has to be careful for is you know how Valdez, like, he comes in and he attacks. He keeps his head down, but it's not really blocked. Berchelt loves to throw uppercuts. He likes to mix it up. He likes to go to the body, and I think that's what Berchelt's going to be waiting for. I think he's already watched enough highlights and says, "Okay, I know what to do when he likes to come in winging his punches. Is mix up those punches, throw some uppercuts as he's coming in."
It's a great point. Yeah.
Do you know what's really just bothering me about the fight in general? Both of their last performances, they look terrible. Berchelt looked terrible in his last fight, and Valdez looked massively vulnerable. Both guys looked like they could actually not just beat each other, but they could also lose to the other. They could just lose. They could lose the fight themselves based off of Berchelt in his last fight. If he fights the same way he did against that random dude who used to fight at flyweight, if he fights the same way he fought in there, Valdez is going to beat him.
Hey, Mark, do you think like that fight with Quigg sort of like finished Valdez at the top?
I think it took quite a lot of the wind out of the sails, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, because I was going to say, that Berchelt, I forget which fight it was his last one. Did he fight a guy who had fat rolls on his waist?
Well, yeah, because he used to be a flyweight. This dude fought, what was his name? Zhu Shiming at flyweight.
Jeez. Yeah, it was a punching
Yeah.
bag, the guy he was fighting, I remember. So maybe that had something to do with it. It's like he couldn't get up for a... It's like if you're banging an ugly chick, I mean, can you really get it up and hard, man? I mean, it's kind of difficult. So maybe that's what
Well,
happened.
depends how much, depends if you do it, what position you do it in, yeah.
Or how much
I
coke
remember,
you're doing.
I remember when Bob Arum tried to sell Zeus Shimin on us, tried to force that fucking guy down our throats. Mate, he is he's like a cheap version of Josh Warrington. That's what that guy was. He was fucking useless, man. He had no punching power, right? Oh, no, that's unfair on Warrington, actually, because I know Warrington don't punch very hard, but he can hurt people. And this Zeus Shimin just didn't... I hated watching this guy fight. It's amazing how he won gold medals in the Olympics. It must have been 3-4 Chinese judges at the time, man, because that guy is fucking useless. I mean, what was it? He was about 35 as well when he broke through the pros, and Bob's pushing this bum on us, man. Oh, come on, man.
Listen, it's the amateurs is 3 rounds. So if you can start off quickly, some guys are better at the amateurism because they're fast and they're quick and they can get that 3 rounds action out of the way. But it's in the 4th, the 5th, the 6th. That's when things start changing the dynamic, and that's
I'm gonna make a quick prediction. I'm gonna say, because I think I gave one, but I'm gonna say this fight is gonna go to the 10th round, and Berchelt will win. He'll stop him, but I'm gonna say Berchelt gets knocked down in this fight. He's gonna get dropped,
or hurt at least.
Valdez,
right? You think?
Valdez is gonna drop him,
or hurt at least. You're saying.
It's possible.
Valdez is more explosive, and I would say that Berchelt is heavier-handed.
I think a lot of things can happen, to be perfectly honest. Berchelt could go in there, beat the absolute living daylights out of him, and end his fucking career. And then Berchelt could get his ass knocked out. Anything can actually happen. It's a weird one.
That's why it's entertaining.
The thing is with Valdez, just hangs around far too long, and when you're hanging around far too long in there, you're open for a big counter. And I think that's what might happen. I mean, he's quite easy to time, Valdez, because he's hanging around that long. And if you can't fucking hit him while he's hanging around that long, then you shouldn't be in boxing. So you're going to hit the guy. It's just whether Berchelt can hit him clean enough to stop him. But Valdez has got a bit of pop, you know. Valdez,
he does.
It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight for Berchelt. It really is. But I just haven't seen enough from Valdez to convince me that he's at that level anymore. I think he's declining quite badly, to be honest with you. I think if the Valdez, I think the Valdez that fought Quigg, that'd have been before the Quigg fight. Sorry, that would have been a real good test for Berchelt. But this Valdez, like I said, I just think he's had a bit taken out of him. And
Valdez's style is Stu. You could tell he's one of those guys. Obviously, we know he could throw straight punches, but he's not really interested in that. He's a hooker. That's it. He throws those hooks, and that makes it dangerous for guys like that. I mean, they're dangerous too. Don't get me wrong, because they're committed to everything. They could catch you. They could catch you on the end of one of those hooks and drop you or hurt you or whatever. But the same thing. Like, he hangs around too long, and I think Berchelt, and Gonzalo said this, he's got very heavy hands and he's lifting weights. I think that favors Berchelt. He's going to be.
And what you said, recognize the uppercut.
Yes.
That's a great point, Stu. He hangs around too long, and the uppercut. He got the longer arms. He's strong, so he can create a lot of leverage. If there's a punch that can sneak up on you that you don't see coming on the inside, it's the uppercut, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Life and logic in the chat.
Berchelt might be the best at that, man. He fucking he goes to uppercut. Hook to the body, back upstairs. It's like the guys, that's the one thing that I would say in boxing today, out of all the weights, and maybe Mark knows somebody that I don't know, but I think so far from what I'm watching, he's probably the best at that with those kind of combination punches.
Because with the hooks, you can see the shoulder roll, you can see the foot slightly pivot. And with the uppercut, you're pretty much just standing still. I mean, you're dropping your knees a little bit if you want to put a little spring under it. But you can also just throw it like that. You just push the arm up, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing about Berchelt, real quick, is that he actually has improved his defense. He moves a little bit more. He dips his head a little bit more now. Obviously, he's not. Nobody's ever going to confuse him with Canelo Alvarez, but nevertheless, there's improvement there. He's not just staying.
Well, you don't
with the
have to
single
be,
tank.
right? You could just do your like he look. The one thing that I like that he does too, when you got him when you're backing him up, he doesn't just back up anymore. Now he throws like a little double jab. You know,
Exactly,
like he'll throw it just a little bit just to get you a little distracted.
Exactly. Yeah. He just stabs you a little bit to keep that, like you said, distract you. That jab in front blocks your view, and he can get out or roll out of the way there or circle out of the way.
There's a lot to like about Berchelt in the ring, bro. There's
Absolutely.
a lot of stuff that he does.
Hey, by the way, I forgot, Bucho, did you read the super chat from Michael Poe from a while back? If not, okay, so
No, I didn't.
shout out to Michael Poe, who says, I wanted to say hello all and hope Johnny Boy is okay. Think he missed my comment. Oh, and Berchelt by late stoppage. Oh, all right. So shout out to Michael Poe for his contribution. He says Berchelt by late stoppage. Another Berchelt pick. I'm not even going to write them down because I already got them memorized. It's Brotherhood says Valdez. Gonzalo says Valdez. Montero says Valdez. So we got 3 Valdez, which I wouldn't be surprised, but it is. Hey, for those of you guys who gamble, are you going to be putting a little money on Valdez?
I would.
I'm not putting any money on that one.
Okay. So you want to keep it pure?
I don't believe in fool's gold, man. That's crazy.
All right.
You gotta be willing to lose, right? You gotta be willing to lose. So you put $100 down. What do you get for betting on $100 down betting on
Valdez 3-1 underdog.
Okay, so you gotta be willing to lose though, right?
Exactly.
That's all it's about. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not afraid to lose. I get tougher with every loss. That's why I'm so tough. But listen, the point is this.
That's right.
The point is this. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from this fight because I think, hey, I'm actually surprised. I was actually ambivalent about doing an episode on this because I said, are we really gonna talk a lot about it? So I'm glad you guys were informed about this, and as well we should, because like Mark said, look, this fight, the fact that there's so many questions surrounding it, that means we've got high expectations for it. All I'm saying is I'm afraid. Yes, BDA is afraid that it might
shaking his boots.
Yeah, maybe both guys decide to box instead of really going for it. But even if they box, I think their instincts are going to start taking over round by round. As they see the fight getting closer and closer, somebody's going to try to step up and say, you know what? Let me go for this knockout.
Especially Valdez.
I don't think Valdez can, if they're in a boxing match, even though I think he's a better boxer, I don't think he can deal with the power of Berchelt's fucking jab. Because it hurts people when he doubles that shit up. It's very stiff.
Yep.
It's a strong jab, man. It's nothing
he
fancy,
can even hurt
but
you.
it
He
gets
can
job
hurt
done.
you going back on the back foot.
Exactly.
That fucking guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been improving on that, man. So, man, I'm excited for it, guys. I am really looking forward to this fight. What was the one the Jojo Diaz? Yeah, that one was. I was looking forward to it, but not like this one. This one, even if it disappoints,
it was a sloppy fight, right? The Jojo Diaz and jacket off, whatever. Mackinoff.
Okay, it wasn't great. Yeah.
Sloppy. It was a sloppy fight.
Sloppy, yeah, it was sloppy.
Am I the only one who really enjoyed that fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me that you get like 1,600 punches thrown, you get like 800 punches connected, and people are like, it was sloppy.
Yeah, I guess
I think the way they were,
the JoJo's punches kind of sloppy. They were landing. I mean, you can throw 1,000 punches, but I can also throw 1,000 slaps. I don't think he was slapping. I'm just going to the extreme here. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't look like he was really hurting that Upsek. Where was he from? Kyrgyzstan.
Tajikistan.
Whatever.
They're like Arabs and Eastern Europeans at the same time. Some shit like that.
I really like the fight.
Commander or something. I don't know what they call it.
I really enjoyed it.
It wasn't a bad fight, but it was, some people were thinking.
You're right. Like
I see what Mark is saying. I see what Mark. There was a lot of action in that fight. You can't really say that there wasn't, but there's something sloppy about that, man. It was just. I feel like Jojo Diaz could have did way better, and I even thought the other kid.
He looked fat. He looked fat.
Yeah, he was fat.
Which is sounding like a fucking fat. Which is sounding like a woman at the beauty salon.
I get all that, right? I get all that, but when I'm on a panel where people have pretty much talked about Wilder for 500 videos and he's sloppier than anybody, they're like, nah, it was sloppy.
You know what, Mark? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about
the Wilder thing is funny as hell, man. That's funny. I mean, we're not breaking down the fight as it was exciting, though. Now we're talking about whether or not this fight, the Jojo Diaz against Mr. Kyrgyzstanian, was exciting, and it wasn't really that exciting. You know,
I don't know why there's something about Jojo Diaz, because again, I remember when we were watching Tevin Farmer fight him, and people in the Discord were like, "Oh, this fight's boring. This fight's boring." And I remember rewatching it, thinking, "Hey, it's actually both guys are trying." But there's just something about Jojo Diaz. I don't know if like Bucho and Recognize said the sloppiness, whatever, but it just seems like there's something missing. It's almost as if you can tell his shots, even though you can hear them during the fight. It's almost like you can tell that there's something off with them. I don't know. But listen,
again, they were throwing a lot of punches, but it didn't seem like anybody was really in any major trouble.
I thought Jojo got hurt a couple of times and Ragamav was shook, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, he did. No, they were.
Jojo did get stung a couple of times. You're right about that.
Yeah, but there was a point where I thought that Diaz was hurt, but then he immediately came back. Remember that at the end of the round, I believe. So was he really hurt? I don't know. When I saw the replay, I was like, "Oh, he wasn't really." I
think maybe more like buzzed.
Yeah, but then he immediately, like, I don't know, instinctively, he just came back with the punch. So I was like, "Oh, it's not that like that dramatic. Like he wasn't really that hurt, or maybe he has a good poker face."
Hey, but, okay, so what about a rematch though?
Really this compared to some other fights that we've seen, like they're really boring. This wasn't a bad fight, but
we're not getting a rematch though.
No, that's a good point, Mark. If it would have been a super exciting fight or a very exciting, I think we would have gotten a rematch.
I don't think so anyway, because the IBF ordered a Gala to fight against Rakhimov for that title.
Fucking IBF, man. Okay. Fucking IBF. Can they ever get anything right, man? These motherfuckers, man. I gotta tell you though, I would like to see the fight just for finality. Because both guys deserve each other. Rakhimov, who's fucking sniffing heroin in between rounds. Then you got Jojo Diaz, who's not making weight. He's showing up looking like Butterbean. I think the rematch should be the perfect thing. But if it doesn't happen, hey, it's again politics for you. But I would rather see them fight each other for some finality, and then the winner maybe take on a guy like Alvarado or Tevin Farmer, and the winner of Valdez Berchelt. I want to see him against Tank Davis. That would be my dream scenario.
Yep. That's the fight. I'd rather it be Berchelt, to be honest. But I think either fight would be good for Tank. I would actually favor Tank over both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
Slightly, yeah. I would. What about you, fellas?
I'm not saying he can't lose. I'm saying that I would give him, this is why I get mad at someone like Floyd and then some stupid boxing fan or quote unquote boxing fan defending this shit. It's like, listen, you don't really need to protect Tank. He's good enough to bang with these dudes and win.
Hey, if Broner wins, like, is he getting a title shot eventually?
Broner's a bomb, man. He's trash.
Right? This is what the PBC would do. Like, they're gonna show the highlights of Broner knocking out.
I think what they're doing is they're going to cash Broner out after this because they've got Regis Prograis over there and they're making Broner fight this Puerto Rican kid at 140 pounds. That's so that they can get Broner and Prograis to fight because they were originally going to schedule that until Broner got like court cases.
Prograis will beat the shit out of Broner.
And I look forward to every punch he lands.
He would fuck him up, man.
But Mark, wouldn't you agree that there's something weird about Broner? How maybe he can lose many times over and he would still sell because he's created an image about himself that's kind of hard to pinpoint, right? It's hard to pinpoint why he sells.
Cult of personality.
He's the clown of boxing, and he can actually lose a fight. It's pretty exciting too. He's one of those guys that you root against, and he can also actually lose because, he's not disciplined. He's iffy. He's a tough motherfucker, though. I'll give him that.
You talking about Broner?
Yeah.
Look, every fight Broner's in, I'll pick him. Every fight he's in, I'll pick him to lose.
Any real fight, right?
Any fight to lose in this one,
mate. He could have a fight with the fucking milkman. I'd pick the milkman to win.
Well, this guy's not a milkman, but he is a janitor. So
no, come on, wait a minute.
No, he is actually a janitor. He does actually work as a janitor.
Oh my goodness
throws out the
gracious!
trash. I hope he
Look,
throws
it's
out
not.
the trash.
Come on, man. It's not. Look, Danny Nietes is a janitor.
What? He's still a janitor even after all this time?
When he was out for 2 years, he was working custodian.
Whoa!
It's like Ricky Burns. Ricky Burns was world champion, and he was working in JD Sports selling trainers.
I remember seeing that picture of him handing somebody over some Nikes.
Oh wait a minute. So all these UFC fighters that say, "Oh, I want to get into boxing for the big money," you still might end up during boxing. You still might end up working at the Foot Locker or something. Just boxing doesn't pay as much as you think, man.
I think it's not
exactly. You're sitting there. You're sitting there. You've got a world champion. Fucking trying his shoes on for you, see if they're thick.
I think it's still not. I don't think it's just as simple as that. Sometimes when they don't have a fight lined up, I think even if they have money, I think some of them just come from a background where they've been working their whole life. So if they're out of work, like they'll just train like they normally would when they were younger and go up and do like 16 hours a week at the local JD.
Well, let's not forget that a lot of world champions in the past generations have gone broke. Like this guy that just died, what was his name? One of the Spinks brothers, maybe, and the old heavyweight champion.
Neon Leon, former undisputed champion.
Yeah, Rocky Lodrich, the guy that went life and death with Chavez. Those guys, man, living on the streets.
Yeah, look, we're not disparaging anybody making a living, but what we're saying is we're surprised that active boxers are actually working, at the Foot Locker. It's bizarre. I mean, it's shocking to me. By the way, speaking of money, shout out to OG Boogie for his contribution via the super chat. And he says, "Is it me or is Miguel Berchelt's style of fighting? Does Miguel Berchelt's style of fighting resemble a little bit like Felix Trinidad?" Yeah, shout out to OG Boogie for his contribution.
I know what
I see it.
about.
I do see that.
Yeah.
I see the style comparison. I have to say that before other people are like, don't compare him to Tito. He's not comparing his resume. Just stop.
Yeah, a little bit.
I see what OG Boogie's talking about for sure.
The stance? No, not the stance. The way he turns on the punch, maybe he looks like Trinidad.
I think it's a footwork.
The way he turns
his left hook, how dominant he is throwing his left hook and stuff like that. I see it.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to
I can
OG
see it.
Boogie for his contribution, man. Really appreciate it, OG. Thank you. And thank you for the food for thought there. Yeah, I think it's also a little bit, maybe Berchelt's a little stiff sometimes with the legs and the upper body. And it sort of resembles...
Like Trinidad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But obviously, he doesn't hit as hard as Trinidad. And he hasn't accomplished what Trinidad did. But yeah, I can see the stiffness is there a little bit, but that's because they're...
pound for pound, I think he does hit. He hits similar. No, listen, Trinidad hits hard. I'm not.
Yeah, Trinidad was. No. I still remember. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just gonna say Berchelt do hit hard, but not like that, man. not like that. Dude.
Hey, Butcher, remember when we wanted to do a video on that on Trinidad Joppy, where we rewatch fights and all that? There was. I was watching YouTube and I found Joppy Trinidad, the international telecast, not the HBO one, the one with Bob, the Colonel Bob. They show a different angle of the fight, slightly different angle. So when he gets dropped the first time, you get a different look at how he got dropped. And when he dropped behind the ropes, under the ropes, I should say, he was trapped under the ropes. They're like a fucking. That was an epic fight, man. Absolutely epic.
Joppies, I mean, come on, man.
Chin up in the air, hands down.
We're going way back. We're going way back.
Another one that I was really impressed in the early days was when he knocked out Yori Boy Campas, a guy with a solid chin, tough guy, and he didn't drop him. He pinned him against the ropes and almost decapitated him, similar like to Castillo Corrales, where the guy was out on his feet and the referee stepped in. That was impressive. Broke his nose, I think.
Yeah, he broke his nose. I don't think Yuri Boy Campos was quite the same after that. I mean, he was still like I still never really saw nobody drop him to the floor and stop him that way. He kind of like just quit after that. He started quitting in fights after getting his nose broken. I think he fought what's the other tough Mexican Gonzalo at
Lopez.
154. He beat Winky Wright back in the days. He was one of the guys that first beat Winky Wright. Fuck, I'm drawing a blank. He lost the belt to
he fought Danny, what was his name? The Puerto Rican dude, Danny
No.
Daniel Santos beat him.
Campos' second loss. He got stopped I think that was the second loss. He got stopped in the corner again. He quit after a certain round.
He lost to Vargas. He lost to Vargas. I remember that.
No, I know he lost to Vargas, but he lost to another guy before that.
Let me check, man.
And it was the same guy that beat Winky Wright. He almost knocked Winky Wright.
I remember he lost to Lopez, the guy who drew with I Cortez, but that was a 147.
I think that was him. That's him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost to Jose Luis Lopez.
Yeah, Lopez stopped him too.
Yeah, after Lopez, a couple of fights later, a whole bunch later, because this guy used to fight like 7 times a year. He lost to Vargas.
I think when he went for Trinidad, he was like 56-0. I mean, they were amazingly in Mexico. He was like some shit. I forgot what it. No, I don't think 56-0. I'm over exaggerating. He was like 40.
Are you talking about Miguel Angel Gonzalez also? Because he fought a lot in Mexico, a lot of fights.
Sounds like he's talking about Jose Lopez.
Yes,
that's what I'm
saying. Jose Lopez, you got it, Mark. You nailed it.
Maestrito Lopez.
What do you mean he got it? We said it 2 minutes earlier. You weren't even listening.
BDA said it like 4 times. He's like, Lopez.
Recognize doesn't.
No.
Yeah, Recognize doesn't listen to me, man.
Recognize out. It's not...
Yeah, Recognize. We're gonna put you in timeout, man. We're gonna put you in timeout.
I heard Mark say. I apologize, guys.
Maybe if I speak with an Irish accent, you're gonna hear me. Would that work for you, Recognize? Hey, speaking of Irish.
Work for me.
Hey, speaking of Irish, we got Jimmy.
Charms. My lucky charms.
Jeez, Gonzalo, come on, man. That's racist, man.
Found them resting on your forehead.
Oh. Hey, speaking of Irish, we got Jimmy in the house. Jimmy.
Yo, what up?
How you doing, man? Listen.
So, I'm an Irishman named Di Marino, eh?
Irish Italian, this guy.
I know. I got Irish in me. I'm a mongrel.
Oh, jeez. But listen, we moved on from the Berchelt Valdez thing, but if you just want to give us your prediction for this Saturday's fantastic fight.
Blood. I think these guys should bang it out. Berchelt's he's been in a few sleepers, been in a couple of fights, but I don't know why he didn't want to bang it out. But I just think, they say makes fights, and I think this should be a good scrap because I know how Valdez likes to. He'll go in and stand in the pocket to his own detriment. I mean, remember when he fought that British kid? He was taking more punishment than he needed to. When we broke the kid's jaw. And Berchelt, I think Berchelt is one of those fighters who rises to the occasion. If you put a bum in front of him, he'll do what he has to. But if you put the better you put in front of him, it brings it out of him. That's what the sense I get. So all said and done, I don't know, man. I think Berchelt might. I'm leaning towards Berchelt, although I do like Valdez as a kid. But that's my whole, thing on it.
Right. Okay. Well, listen. Most people are going with Berchelt, man. But
yeah.
It's an interesting one for sure. Valdez could pull it off, man. That's why they box, because we want to find out who actually has the skills to win. Speaking of
who's the hottest puncher Berchelt's ever faced,
Miura.
I was trying to think. Who's what's that?
Miura, the Japanese guy that almost knocked out Francisco Vargas.
That would be his hottest puncher. Did he ever rock him or hurt him in that fight?
He hurt him to the body a little bit.
But yeah, so nobody's ever seen Berchelt rock. That is what we're saying.
I think Vargas stunned him.
No, Berchelt's been stopped.
Yeah, he got sparked out in the first round by a Colombian guy, 2014.
Yeah, by an absolute nobody.
Cold then, right?
Yeah.
In the first round, that's usually because they don't have a sweat. They get caught cold. I know a lot of people don't understand that. But it does make a difference. You're cold, and the first shot you catch is hard. You put your lights out.
Put your lights out, boy. That's why I say he's got to be careful for the first 3 rounds, Jimmy. First 3 rounds are gonna with Valdez is gonna be very interesting.
For sure, man.
Could be.
For sure.
I got to correct myself quickly. Jose Luis Lopez did not beat Winky Wright. It was Julio Cesar Vasquez of Argentina that beat him and almost knocked him out. That's it. That's all I got to say.
And he had a big ass head.
Wait. I want to just address a little geeky white boy in the chat, Kev from Chicago.
Oh, come on.
You can talk about Warrington all you like, but the thing is, if Warrington was American, he'd be the best white fighter out there. Get the fuck out of here.
Why, people busting Warrington's balls because he fucking lost?
Yeah, Kev's talking about calling him Bummington and our Brits are bums and that lot. Yeah, this corny little white motherfucker right? He's got no one to fucking get behind. Malinagi's retired. He's got Smith. I'll give him that. He's got Smith to get behind. All of a sudden, he's the most racist fuck around. But yet, when an American's fighting a white guy, a black American, by the way, he's all for the black dude, isn't he? This guy's a corny motherfucker. Get him out of here.
Stu, he's on the line, so I don't know if we want to let him have the chance to say what is it. Actually, you know what, Kevin, call in, but I mean, keep it to boxing, man, because I don't want to go to the whole rigmarole here of him against Stu and Britain versus the U.S. blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's getting tired, man. Tired.
Yeah,
every once
look, Kev's trying to make a bit of a reputation for himself off my name, and it ain't working. You're just coming across as a fucking div.
But that's what it is, Stu. This show is like prison. Everybody always tries to make a name off each other. Like, oh, let me beat up the hardest guy in the prison. That way, I'll make my bones off of him. So, well, let's see what he has to say. Let's see, Kevin. Try to keep it boxing, all right, man?
It's gonna be the same old shit. You've heard one fucking Kev call. You've heard them all.
All right, Kevin, you're on the line, man. Keep it to boxing, please, man. Come on now.
Well. Josh Warrington.
He sounds evil, man. He sounds evil. All right, go ahead, Kevin.
He ducks Shakur Stevenson to fight Lara, a fight he's supposed to win, and he gets knocked out. And people are ready to say he should get a rematch, put him in there again, get an immediate rematch. No. He already lost in my eyes to Kid Galahad. So give Kid Galahad his rematch. And this is just another case of cherry picking gone wrong. He ducked Shakur Stevenson. It was a marquee fight. A lot of hype to it. Could have been a big unification. Instead, he fights some no-name Lara. Gets knocked out anyways. Just pathetic. And Stu's over crying. Oh, he lost. You don't say that. That's mean. Pathetic.
No, I'm not crying. I'm just sick to the back teeth of you. You're a fucking lowlife degenerate. That's what you are.
I think
you're one of these fucking boys that get out one day and fucking shoot up a shopping centre or something. You just want to.
Okay, come on now. You guys got to play nice. I actually see Kevin as a slightly similar version of what Stu might have been when he was young. You know, moxie, him against the world type attitude. So Stu, I think you could actually. I think you could actually be a mentor.
I was never a fucking cornball like that.
Ah, come on. I actually think you could.
Didn't you say to keep it boxing? Come on,
hold on.
So keep him in check. Said keep it boxing. I'm keeping it boxing.
All right. First of all, this is not Bucho. This is Mr. BDA. Right. Let's get it together, man. Now, speaking of that, by the way, can somebody correct me? Didn't Warrington? He was supposed to fight the Chinese dude, right? Zhu Kan, and instead he went. Yeah. He wasn't supposed to be Shakur Stevenson, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Zhang. Him and Shakur were calling each other out. The fight didn't happen, so then they went with Zhang.
Oh, okay.
They were looking for Zhang.
There you go. So, Kevin, when it comes to this Saturday, man, Berchelt, Valdez, do you think it lives up to the hype, and who do you think wins that one?
All I know is both of them knock out Josh Warrington inside one. Fact.
All right. Thank you for your call, Kevin. Take it easy, man.
Still,
don't address me, bitch boy. Don't fucking address me. Don't even talk to me.
I actually think
for Chicago.
Hey, get back. Hey, get back to your fucking WWE fucking DVDs. Go watch them, clown.
I actually think Stu's actually more pissed off about the fucking $5,000 mechanic bill than that fucking Warrington losing. You know, it's like I don't think he cares that much about that. But all right, so there you have it, man. People are saying most people are going with Berchelt on this one. Can't blame him, but because I tend to agree with that. The other thing I wanted to say then, because we're talking about Adrian Broner, and they want to put him in there, I guess the Rougarou probably. It's interesting, guys, the contrast between the Rougarou and Broner. Broner, a lot of skill, a lot of physical talent. He just never really seemed to want to get up for it. He could have stayed a lightweight for a whole bunch more time, but he decided to jump all the way up to welterweight. Rougarou, meanwhile, at this point in his career, hungry, fucking running around in construction boots. The guy is a hardcore worker out there. Does anybody think Broner could pull off the upset if they ever fight, even if he does get in tip-top shape?
No.
Maybe. I'll say why, because I saw Broner. He got beat by Maidana, but he was still tough enough to get off the canvas and make it to the final bell. And he had his moments in that fight later on. So he can get into a fight and you know, like a slugger, like Maidana throws a lot of punches, but Rougarou is stuck between two styles, or he does two things. He can punch, but he can also box. If he decides to box with Broner can box back too, because he's a boxer. But if he wants to get into a dogfight, he's also tough enough to make it to the final bell. So if Broner is able to outland and beat him in the boxing battle, to where when he tries to make it into a fight, Broner can resist to the final bell and outscore him by the time it's all said and done, he could win, possibly the experience. And you got to remember, Broner's still a young man. He's not old. A lot of people think he's old because he's been around for a while, but he's not old.
That's true. That's absolutely true. What do you guys think then? I mean, Broner, he does have a lot of experience. Could he make something interesting happen against Pergray?
No. Myself, I don't think so at all. I think he's a spent bullet. I think he's got too much cocaine, too many hard miles. He's a mental basket case. He hasn't won a fight in 4 years. I think he's an absolute stain on the sport that needs to be washed away. Next.
Yeah, I agree, Jimmy. The only thing interesting about that fight is watching Broner get punched in the face.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of I think you see a similar performance from when he fought Maidana, except that I don't think he'll have the will to make it a good fight. Maybe for the first couple of rounds after getting knocked down, something like that. I think Prograis beats him up. Prograis, like that guy. Say what you want. I'm not saying he's the most skilled fighter out there, but
he's got dog in him.
He's got that dog in him.
And it's funny how now Kev, because Kev's talking football, he's Polish again. He's got more nationalities than Alex Lewis. That guy. Make your fucking mind up.
Well, it's like what I do. It's like what I do. I'm Mexican, but I live in Canada, so I can't say I'm Mexican anymore. I call myself Canadian, but then the Mexicans go, "Wait, what happened to say you're Canadian now? You're a traitor?" I go, "Well, what the fuck you want me to say, man? Jeez, Louis, I'm a child of the world. I mean, I can't take."
How did a Mexican get to Canada? Is the question.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy, man. I'll give you my
context. That's why BDA takes transracial. I think that's where he got it from. That's why you're transracial, right?
That's exactly where I got it. Yeah, transracial.
I was thinking fugitive.
No, come on. Wait a minute. I'm like
there's a Mexican who up in that fucking cold weather.
It's like Cheech Marin. He went over to Canada to avoid the draft, so I avoided the draft myself. No, but listen, yeah, Broner versus Pergray, man. Pergray, I like the fact that you guys mentioned how in tune he is with boxing. I mean, this guy went 12 hard rounds against Josh Taylor, and just by a little bit, lost by a smidge, in my mind. I think you guys had it very, very close too. So I don't know if Broner can beat that guy.
I had that fight a draw. Could have went either way for me.
Yeah.
Could have went either way.
How does Broner beat Prograis with his work rate? I mean, Josh Taylor, look, he's probably one of the busiest guys in 140. He fucking just crossed the line with Prograis. I had that by 1 round to Taylor, I think, but it was a close fight. Prograis is constantly busy, and he throws shots from funny angles. He's very hard to read, Prograis. He will tee up on Broner all night. Broner will curl up behind that shell and collect his paycheck. Come on, man. That fucking guy's clown.
But I can't even believe he's fighting at 140 again. That's just blowing my mind. He had the discipline to get down to 140. That means the whole time he's been fighting at 147 when he shouldn't have been. Because that was his biggest problem, like you said, BDA. That was when he chased the fucking welterweight money instead of staying in a weight class where he could have actually won at.
Exactly. But Stu, don't you think that Broner now, he's got like about 17 kids, I think. He knows time is running out. Do you think if he comes in motivated, he could actually... Because I'm with Gonzalo. I think Broner, listen, he went 12 rounds with Pacquiao. Not everybody can do that, man. He's good.
When was the last time Pacquiao knocked anyone out?
I was about to say, everybody goes 12 rounds with Pacquiao now.
Nah,
Since 2009, he has only knocked out one person. That was that imitation shell of Matisse they sent up.
What, the RG Coward?
Yeah, that wasn't even... Yeah,
well,
that was a joke. But.
Look, mate, Broner, I mean, I keep hearing the same thing. Oh, but Broner, he's on his last chance. He's going to turn up and put it on. He's going to do what he always does: go through the motions, stink the joint out, and lose by about 10 rounds. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's true. We always we've always said that, right,
and they yell at the announcer how he won. I'm from the street.
Oh yeah, he's going after Jim Gray. Actually, scares me more than Broner because Broner's a barker. His bark is worse than his bite. Jim Gray, he's silent. He actually lives up to his name. He looks grayish, like a fucking mortician. That guy scares me, man. More than a fucking guy like Broner who's all bark and no bite, you know. So, yeah, man, I don't know what he was thinking going after Jim Gray in that one, man. But he's got. I think that was stupidity from his part. Now, moving on to the fight from this Saturday, because again, Broner versus Santiago. Apparently, Santiago's a janitor, so he's like a part-time boxer. Maybe again, not disparaging his work as a janitor, but it's indicative of a guy who doesn't really have the best training schedule, probably.
BDA.
So hold on.
If he works at night shift, I could imagine Santiago like shadow boxing in the dark in the alley, in the corridors. Give me credit for that one, BDA.
I'm gonna get off to bed, lads. I'm really tired.
Oh, come on,
guys, in the week.
We still got a long way to go, man.
Good evening.
It's 12 o'clock. I'm ready.
Did they just say you had a $5,000 mechanical bill for your car?
Yeah.
Would you blow a head?
No, I blow diff.
Front differential.
Oh. Yeah, $5,000, man. Fucking hell. I dropped my phone and shot me. Right? I said to him, "What do I get with that fucking new stereo and a DVD system in there?" So fucking hell, $5,000. I want that. Come on, man, $5,000. How'd he take the piss? That's what I mean about the Germans. Don't buy a German car, them fuckers. They'll take every penny you got out of you.
Well, it's all on labor on that because they have to take the whole front end out on that, right?
Well, this is it. Yeah, I mean, look. Hopefully, I've spoke to Audi, and because the car's quite new, its warranty's only run out like last month. I spoke to them, and it sounds like they're gonna foot the bill. Hopefully, because like I said, I don't want to be $5,000 out of pocket.
Well, listen, Stu.
Especially when you fucking spend $50,000 on a car, you don't want to be fucking spending $5,000 for a while, do you? I mean, come on, man.
Listen, if you're gonna stay up for the,
you'll hammer him with the terrible fucking. I'm telling you, just write a serious email to the somebody there, dude. No, they'll just to save the bad press.
Well, this is what I spoke to a guy from Audi who used to work there, and he said they'll definitely do it because they don't like bad press. And if you've spent that much on a car and it's done that after free, it don't look good, does it? So,
dude, I was 22,000 miles on a Supra. Quick story, I know it's not boxing. 22,000 miles past the warranty on my Supra. I wrote such a scathing letter to Toyota, and I bought the car used too, and I still got them to fucking warranty the top of the motor because the cams egged on me.
I've got a feeling they're going to do it for me because when I rang them up, they said, "Look, we can't help you," but they said, "Look, just get it diagnosed and we'll sort it out." I'll
best luck with that, mate.
Why is everybody so quiet? Are we still in the air? Fuck. Hold on a second.
Yes.
What's going on here?
What the hell's going on?
That Broner fight is the main event, right? On
yeah, can you imagine that?
The Broner fight is the main event of what?
Yeah. On Showtime, too. Tell me Steven Espinosa's pumped when he was offered that. That tells me that fucking Espinosa, they didn't pay up front. I mean, I don't understand. If he would have paid for like the year up in advance, Heyman would have had all kinds of money. Obviously, he doesn't have any money because look at the following week. Darrell against fucking Davis. Oh, my God.
Well, you look at the undercard.
Won in years.
Jimmy, you look at the undercard here for the Showtime card. They got Rashid Warren, Robert Easter Jr. versus Ryan Martin, Otto Wallin versus Dominic Brazil, and Nate Broner versus Santiago. It seems like they're packing it to try to get some of these guys some fights, but would it be fair to say that time is ticking for the PBC, or?
Well, I mean, look at, they're all on their last leg. Every one of those dudes are fucking, you can get for a song because they're all either coming off a loss. Nobody's looking. Has anybody, any of those people you mentioned, has anybody said, "Oh, I can't wait to see them fight again"? No, so they've got them all for a song. You know what I mean? You can tell Broner's not getting paid a lot of money just by his attitude going into this fight. His critics can suck a dick with gravy on it. I guess the gravy on it's his new maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Before
Yeah,
was
he
just a
did say
crappy
that.
pick. You know, the guy's a clown. He's just a fucking clown.
Talking of clowns, I mean, Jim McDonald in the chat, a guy that calls himself, he names himself after a drunk on a soap. This guy, Jim McDonald's from Coronation Street. He was a degenerate drunk. They used to beat up his missus. This is the guy who he wants to be. And look, he didn't even talk boxing. All he wants to do is talk to me all night, like some fucking fag.
Hey, Stu.
I'm not here to entertain. I'm not interested in you. Look, bring your missus over and I'll give her a good time. As for you, stay in your lane, fag. I'm not into boys.
Oh,
stop talking to me. Stop addressing me. I don't know you. You're a geek. You're probably someone from up north, like fucking Carlisle or some shithole like that. Got nothing going on in life, so you just want to fucking troll me.
All right, listen, I don't mind people trolling Stu because I know it's part of the game, but if it starts disrupting the show like this, I'm gonna fucking time you out, man. All right, now listen, hey, brother.
I wanted to go to bed. I was about to go to bed, so you crack on, mate. You deal with the fag, Jim McDonald.
Hey, by the way, Stu, how are you gonna? Because are you gonna be able? You're supposed to be in preparation right now for the main event on Saturday. Otherwise, how are you gonna watch it?
Have you ever heard of cocaine?
I knew. Oh, jeez. All right. Anyway,
cocaine, he says.
Thank you for dropping. Thank you for dropping. Line them up. Thank you for dropping by, Stu. Take it easy, man.
I always tell people, man.
Never smoke it, Stu.
Take it easy,
I've been
boys.
talking to Stu.
Take it easy, Stu. Have a good night.
You know when I'm on the coke. You know when I'm on the coke because none of you guys will get a fucking word in.
That's
true. That, boys.
Just don't smoke it, Stu.
No. I don't smoke. Smoke coke. Fucking hell, that's crack, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, crack is crack. Freebase. You can take cocaine if you cook real coke. That's freebase. That just cooks it down to its pure base. Crack is you can take the shittiest stepped-on cocaine and turn it into a smoke form. That's crack.
Yeah,
yeah.
The thing is, though, the stuff you get in England, mate, that just burn away on your fucking spoon if you tried that.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, that's how. That's how. See, that's how a lot of clowns get into freebasing because a lot of people want to see if you're like a novice, you want to know if you coke's how clean it is. All you gotta do is throw like a fucking quarter gram into a shot glass just to get it wet with water. Throw a playing card on it, put it in the microwave 5 seconds, and then throw an ice cube in it. Well, hot water. Then you throw a little piece of ice cube. Whatever hardens, that's what you weigh, and that's how you can tell how bad it was stepped on. And but what's left is base, and that's what people smoke.
Jeez,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, the fucking stuff they're putting in in England, the stuff oh mate, dread. You have a line. Next minute, you fucking. Huh? Well, yeah, you have a line. Next minute, you're peeling your fucking tits off. Sit there, your eyes are fucking. You sit there with a rattly jaw. That you should be doing that.
That was
Usually
Jimmy
when
Nolan.
you're chewing on it, that's adding amphetamines, though. A lot of that time, people are chewing on their gums because they've added amphetamines.
Hey, do people sniff Adderall?
Of course they do.
Jeez,
absolutely.
Louise.
Any narcotic. Think about it. Sniffing is the same thing as people stuffing E up their ass. It goes into the same type of glands. It gets absorbed into your body, into your blood system quicker. So any narcotic that can be taken through the mouth can be either sniffed, smoked, or shot.
Yeah. All this. I better go to bed because all this talks make me want to ring the dealer and get a gram dropped off.
By the way, he's just kidding. He's just kidding on this show. We're anti-drug in this show. Take it easy, man.
We're an anti-drug family show over here.
Yeah, that's right. We're an anti-drug family show.
10 years. I can still talk about it.
Jeez, Luis. All right, listen. I wanted to say, okay, so the Wallin, okay, Bronner, forget about Bronner. Listen, we don't even know if he's gonna end up in jail within the next 2 months. So that
I'm concerned about the Showtime subscribers. That's all.
Can you imagine buying a subscription on top of the ESPN app, the Zone app, Fox? Well, with your cable bill. Fox, and then you decide to get premium, and you go, okay, let me go with Showtime. This is what they're offering you, man?
No, it's a fucking insult. It's an absolute insult. I mean, the dude hasn't won a fight in 4 years. Since 2017 is the last time he raised his hand in victory.
And the way they're promoting it on social media, like on Twitter, like, oh, he's back, or Bronner's, the return of Bronner. It's like, I don't know how they were selling. They were selling one of the most controversial boxers right now. Like,
well, that's the only angle, right, brother? It's the only thing they can pump. They didn't even bother making a poster. You know what I mean? Put it this way, the Durrell fight is so bad, if you go to the PBC website, they haven't even put his opponent in the fucking fight. It's still TBA.
You're kidding.
And they signed the fight 2 weeks ago. They still haven't even gotten around their own website to put the fighter in. That's how fucking Bush League that organization's run. It's like literally, I mean, a ninth grader could run that fucking show.
And remember when Caleb Plant fought Truax, they were showing like a list of the best super middleweights. They excluded Billy Joe Saunders, and then they had Darrell in there. They had because they knew that Darrell was going to fight later this year, so they put him in there as if he's some sort of contender, like for a possible opponent.
It's an eliminator. They're fighting for WBC eliminator belt. Well, they're an eliminator. Okay, so a dude just come off a vicious knockout, retired. The other fucking dude lost to, I think, last time out. How the fuck are these guys? How is Darrell even ranked? Never mind fighting for an eliminator. It just goes to show you the WBC is just grab your ankles, man. Seriously.
It really is amazing. It really is amazing. And I feel, when the PBC started out, I had high hopes for them. I was not rooting against them. And I said, you know what? More boxing, hey, free TV, blah, blah, blah. It sounds like a good deal to me. It's been 5 years now. And it was a con. Yeah, it was a con. So, I hope those guys in the roster, I hope they can find work somewhere else or promotion somewhere else. Because, I mean, with the PBC, they're fighting once a year. That the PBC package, you fight once a year. And, I mean, fucking Caleb Plant's another guy that he's been taken care of, apparently. But, I mean, they got to make him and Benavides next. Otherwise, I'm not interested in watching either of those guys fight. But anyway, that's Broner out of the way. But now we also have, like I said, the Wallin versus Brazil fight. That's an interesting one right there. I don't know. Most people, I think, are picking Wallin, but Brazil, say what you want about the guy. Guy can crack. So what do you fellas think about that fight?
Brazil's going to knock him out.
Yeah, Brazil has a good shot of knocking him out. I mean, if Wallin could survive, he could make it an ugly fight. We've seen him do it with Tyson Fury.
He got starched in the first round by the fucking football player. Wallin. The fucking dude who's now training Wilder. Wilder fought him. The football player, the kid who played football in university. What?
Gerald
George
Washington?
Yeah, I believe Gerald Washington sparked Wallin in the first round, didn't he? Unless I'm confusing bums.
No.
Yeah, you're confusing the bums. Yeah,
I'm shaking up the bums. Sorry, it was a different bum.
Wallin could take a punch.
It's a different bum. Yeah. Now I think Wallin might beat him, but he could get sparked up.
Gerald Washington knocked out Hellenius.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, but they look alike. They're both tall fucking white dudes who suck.
Yeah, Gerald Washington lost to Miller, then he lost to Nowacki, then he beat Hellenius, then he lost to Martin. I mean, but anyway, listen.
Mine almost killed him.
Right, man. But Brazil, so you guys are going with Wallin. I don't know much. I mean, I guess Wallin against Fury, okay, he did well. I think the fact that he cut Fury let a lot of people think that Fury was in more trouble. But if you rewatch the fight, Fury was more or less having his way with the guy on the inside. Then again, that's Tyson Fury, Brazil's not going to fight him on the inside.
Tyson Fury clearly won that fight. There's no doubt. But Wallin gave him problems. We could admit that.
Yeah, it wasn't
fourth
the
round. Brazil's going to spark him in the fourth round.
Oh,
or the third. Oh yeah, mark it.
I will mark it, but I want to say Brazil. Dominic Brazil. Who did he beat last? He beat somebody, right? I haven't even been following his career that much, so I don't.
He's lost every time he steps up. He got smoked by Joshua. Smoked him. I think Wilder smoked him.
Yep.
I think he beat Carlos Negron. I'm not sure.
Did he Carlos Negron. I'm looking at it. KO round 9.
He's only got 2 losses, right? Brazil.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Whoa. So Dominic Brazil beat Carlos Negron on December 22nd, 2018. Then he lost to Wilder, and he hasn't fought since he lost to Wilder.
Whoa! So he didn't fight at all in 2020.
His last fight basically was on May 2019.
I'm going to go with Wallin. Wallin's going to be in activity.
Boxing champions.
Boxing champions. Yeah, man. Listen, I think Otto Lalin Wallin will probably take this fight too. Because like Recognize just made me realize that too, the inactivity. I mean, Bucho and Recognize are. I think they're going. You guys are saying then because of the inactivity, then, right?
It's inactivity, yeah. And Wallin is a little bit more polished as a boxer than Brazil is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. The whole time I'm still thinking, fuck, dude. I'm still thinking Hellenis. The whole time I'm making this prediction, I'm still thinking it was the Hellenis clown.
Yeah,
no, we're talking about Wallin, the one that bust up.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm just thinking, I'm so stoned. You just told me it wasn't him, and I'm still fucking picturing that. I'm still picturing that stiff.
How can you make a prediction?
The guy that almost stopped Tyson Fury. I don't care what anybody says. He almost stopped him.
You know why that Fury didn't have any Vaseline on his forehead, I remember. And that's why he got caught like that, I think, though. Because remember, he just grazed Fury and he caught him really deep. And I was like, how's that even possible, man? And
could have been a lace cut.
Yeah,
right where your laces on your glove. Well, not like, but sometimes little pieces of glove. You just catch it right, or if you just catch the leather, catches your skin and sticks, even with the Vaseline.
Oh, even with the Vaseline, okay? Because I thought he looked dry, like he didn't have anything.
Well, he did.
Yeah, if he didn't have anything, it's wicked easy to get cut with gloves.
He did try to lace Fury in that fight, if you remember correct.
Oh, after he opened the cut, remember that? Even the referee told him, "Hey, listen, man, cut the crap."
That's why I didn't have a. That's why I didn't have a problem with the Fury holding behind the head. Because look, you're fighting a dirty guy. You beat dirty right back, man. That's the way it works. I have a problem with people.
He had a chance of beating the champ. Well, he wasn't the champ. Well, the lineal champ, whatever.
Right. And let's start calling him Lalin from now on. Let's start that, all right?
I got fucking diapers. I shit my pants every day. I can't walk. Go ahead and kill me, cocksucker.
That's the greatest. Cocksucker. Cocksucker.
Hey, Busto, BD, I was talking to my uncle. I talked to him over, and he was telling me about, well, I have this, my father's grandfather's brother, so my great-grandfather's brother, was on, because they were just talking about him in Ring Magazine, because he was in the 1927, I believe, 1927 cover of Ring Magazine in March, when his name was Mello, Al Mello. His real last name wasn't Mello. He took that because everybody did who had, because he was Portuguese. And but Tavares was his real last name, but he changed to Al Mello. After he retired, he opened up a car dealership. He did all right for himself. He owned it. He died in 1993, a year after my grandfather. But yeah, he was the world champion. Junior welterweight, but you said dirty fighter. He got disqualified 5 times for fucking low blows. I guess he was dude, 5 fucking times, twice as champion. If somebody headbutted me, would fucking aim for the nuts, or he got disqualified for headbutting dude. Just walked up in the middle of the ring and just smashed the dude's nose open.
Was he related to Andrew Golada or what the fuck?
He has Andrew Golada.
Back then it was nasty. I mean, think about to get disqualified back in the 1920s, man, 1930s and 20s, man. Those guys did some horrible shit back then. They used to give you the glove. My uncle was telling me they would give him the gloves 2 hours before the fight even began to break them in because they were actual horsehair. So they would wear they would first put on a wet sponge, a wet cloth in their hands, put them in there, get them nice and wet, and then make a finger scratch across where your knuckles are, and then the trainer would sit there just keep breaking them back and forth. So by the time you're out there, it's literally, and back then it was gauze. So it's wet gauze, what turns into a cement. So it's like it's just basically a leather-wrapped cast punching you in the face. 15 rounds.
Gee Louise.
Oh, yeah.
It's hardcore, man. I remember, speaking of old school techniques, Freddie Roach was saying that one of the craftiest guys he fought, he said he was a guy you've never ever heard of, he said, but this guy would tuck his head in at the right time when you would try to punch him, and he would angle it at the precise moment so that you would actually hit your hand. I mean, you would hit him over the head, and it would hurt a lot, he said. And he says, I never figured out how the guy did it, but that's just some of the craftiest guys used, man, back in the day.
That's the thing about boxing, man. You could have a lot of talent, and in terms of how you let off your punches, but sometimes a guy could beat you with less talent because he's just crafty, like Freddie Roach said. He'll know how to duck his head at the right time, so all you're hitting is the top of his head, and that's going to hurt you, especially if you're going all in.
I'll tell you, stepping on people's feet, that's a good one if somebody's raw, if you're in close, Because you step on the, just not all the way in their foot, but just try to catch the toe and then hit them with a shot when they go back. A lot of times, though, you can time it right. You can get a knockdown out of it, too.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I mean,
yeah, no elbows, biting. Use the shadows. If the referee, if you're looking down, so you're in the fucking, and you're mucking it up, and they get the overhead lights, so you see the shadows. So that's how you can usually see if the ref is on your right. So if he's on your right side, you drill your opponent on the fucking left side on his thigh and upper hip to take his legs out from him.
Ooh, that sounds like it could be problematic. By the way, shout out to Pete, aka Scalebender, in the chat. He says those Heyman contracts are in the last year / 18 months. In parentheses, 7 years max term. Those fights are going to be made before they expire. Oh well, that's interesting.
That's good.
Well, doesn't the Fox contract end at the end of this month? At the end of February this month, I believe Fox is done their 2-year deal. And from the looks of it, I wouldn't think they're re-upped. I mean, look what they're giving them. They're giving Fox shit. You can't tell me that the Fox executives, they see the numbers. They see them finish every single time they put on a fight. They finish dead last. A live sporting event, primetime Saturday, and they finish dead last every time. Unless Fox is just looking to write something off, I don't see why they would re-up with them.
Hey, we got to get you and Pete together for an episode and just talk about that. Like, if indeed there are more news coming up in the next 2 weeks to figure out exactly what the PBC, what happened with it in the future, what the future holds for those guys. Because it could be interesting. Those guys going over to the zone near ESPN and we get the fights, some of the fights we've always wanted to see. Other than that, fellas, I think we're going to end it right now. We're going to come back with another...
Super chat? Did you read the super chat?
From Pete? Yeah. Okay. So shout out to Pete for his contribution. Really appreciate it. And unless anybody else has anything else to say, fellas, I think we're going to end it. We're going to come back for another preview show, I believe, depending on how much traction the Berchelt fight gets. Otherwise, I also got a couple of other episodes planned. Some gimmick episodes, just to keep
we got to do a second Renaissance.
Was this a short night? How long were you guys on for?
2 hours, 21 minutes.
Oh, all right. I just get... Yeah, I know. I got the thing about 25 minutes ago. Right before I called, it said 19 minutes.
Maybe we could do a Renaissance tomorrow. Tomorrow
Sure.
is Thursday, so yeah.
Or maybe tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
Or maybe tonight. Well, it's already...
Let's do it tonight. Come on.
The film studies are the best. The film studies you were doing prior to the fights where you show the guy's strengths and weaknesses, those were really good.
Oh, you mean the episodes where we show GIFs? Yeah, we could do. It's because I'm a little hesitant of using video during the streams because that's usually when they get you. YouTube gets you when they're using a video. So I have to convert them into GIFs, and that takes a little bit more time. But I mean, I could do a couple.
Okay.
It doesn't have to. We don't have to go all out like like we did before. So
yeah, that's a lot of work putting them all into GIFs. That's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah, and especially I'm running out of space in my hard drive because I got my porn GIFs there, so I got to clean those out and then. But
hey, Gonzalo, is the wife still mad at you? Is that all cleared up?
Yeah, she's back. I went to go get her last night, but I had to state my case. I had to state my case to the Filipinos. I told them, look, listen, Filipinos do not like to listen to a foreigner. We are second-class citizens in your country. Now, I understand there's a language barrier. But many times you do hear me, but you don't think I understand, and you want to change things to go the way you want. And then I started getting into character, and, I wasn't fake about it, because they say I'm aggressive, that I speak loud and stuff. But, his brother speaks loud, but, it went okay, because I do good things, too. The amount of stuff that I've been able to do in the last 8 months since I moved houses, man, I spent like $1 million pesos already. I built a big-ass wall. I made this nice-ass cabin inside and out. I planted trees. I dumped a lot of soil to where I transferred the soil to this new lot. Man, it looks really nice. So I'm not just all talk. I'm action, right? So I told them.
All right, I'm glad she's back, brother. Glad she's back, dude.
Yeah, I just gotta calm down. Don't drink no more, and then I just gotta be like considerate and maybe not talk so aggressively sometimes because people get frightened.
Yeah, you're a big guy, man, for a Mexican, man. All right, listen, we're gonna end it probably. I'll talk to. Well, actually, I'm gonna everybody stay on the line because I gotta talk about the second Rennie too. See how we work that out. But for everybody else, man, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Really fantastic show. I liked it. We got a whole bunch of fights coming up this Saturday. Broner, say what you want about the guy, but it's going to be interesting to see him back.
Using blog.
And we got Brazil Wallin. And we didn't even fucking talk about, somebody asked for it in the chat room. Josh Taylor, no, not Josh Taylor, Josh Warren. What's the guy's name? Josh Kelly versus Avanesian, aka the Armenian Genocide. And so it's going to be a good one, man. We got a whole bunch of fights planned.
Also, BDA, did you guys mention the undercard on Berchelt? Isn't that, what's his name? Lazat, what's his name? Fuck.
Let me check.
Yeah, that undercard fight, if it's on that night, I'm looking forward to that too.
Gabriel Flores Jr. taking on the aforementioned
He's
Jason
good.
Valdez. Yeah.
That kid is good, they're saying, man. I heard, I got put onto him, what's the guy's name? Punch Drunk. Interview with him.
Yeah. So that's what's the other kid? The other kid who's fighting?
Jason Velez versus Gabriel Flores Jr.
Okay, and then all right, then it must be the couple of weeks after that because I know what's his name, Salazar or something. He's a young hot prospect for top rank. I think a welterweight punches hard.
I'll tell you what though, in the Alvarez Yildirim fight, the fight I'm looking forward to, I forget the Alvarez Yildirim. I might skip that main event, but it's Julissa Martinez versus Mike Williams Arroyo. That's gonna be a good one, man.
Yeah. In BDA, real quick too. Can I just say too, because I don't even bother saying it on Twitter. I don't even fuck with really Twitter anymore. But man, it's just vile that people go off to watch Warrington the way they did. Listen, that kid was hurt. Did he fucking try to hide? Did he, you know what I mean? He stood in like a champion. Like to hear people talk like bomb, dude. I mean, first off, to get in there, let's not even talk about the balls it takes to even get in the ring, right? Never mind, you're hurt, dude, and he fucking stood in there. He showed champion's heart. He ended up losing. There's never any disrespect to losing a Mexican. I don't give a fuck if you didn't know him. He's a Mexican. You know what I mean? So right off the rip, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, dude. Mexican fighters are tough. Chismo, they come to
I used to beat Mexicans like Tito Trinidad.
Chavez Jr.
And all I needed to see was that kid Lara had a crazy fucking high KO ratio. Right? He's a pretty good KO ratio. I'm like, okay, I don't care who he's fighting in Mexico. I don't care if they're bums or not. Mexicans are hard to knock out. So if you have a high fucking knockout ratio and you're fighting solely in Mexico, you got to take that kid serious. So I don't know why it was such a shock that Warrington lost to him. I just want to get my piece off on that. Sorry, dude. But,
well, it was a shock because... Go ahead, Regulus.
No, I was gonna say, Jimmy. In my days, they used to call me the Mexicans used to call me the Terminator.
That's what you said.
He reminded me of that movie, Jimmy, when he's a Mexican, like the movie El Mariachi or Desperado. Is he a Mexican or a Mexican with Cheech Marin?
But you know what I mean? I don't care if they said, he only never fought outside of Mexico. Oh, okay, so you're saying he only fought other warriors because it's just the culture doesn't apply to weak fighters. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You go to those fucking small cards down in Mexico, there's some bloodbaths down there. That's a serious blood sport.
Well, that's why.
So if you've gone through there and you've knocked a lot of people out, I'm shocked that people were shocked is what I'm fucking.
Well,
you know
Jimmy, we said before the fight, we were talking about, I think it was on a Friday, and we were saying, look, this Mexican dude, Lara, will probably lose, but one thing you got to remember, the way, because we said, if you watch him fight, he's not going to go in there to run. He's going to go in there to head on against Warrington. And we said, don't be surprised if it's a hard fight. And of course, none of us were picking him to win because Warrington is considered either the number 1, number 2 featherweight in the world. So it was shocking to see him lose, but was it a total fucking surprise? Not, I mean, yes, but it's in hindsight not, because like you said, those guys, if you make it out of Mexico, either you're overrated and they're just trying to get you out of the way, or you actually are good because you came out of that furnace and you've come out
usually
hard.
They're undefeated. He's undefeated, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, I think he's lost. I think he's lost a couple of times.
Oh, really? Was he? Or even if could have started later and just. But I'm just.
Yeah, he lost to other guys. He lost to other guys that fights like him.
Exactly. Yeah.
My thing is, you never take any Mexican with a high fucking knockout rate for granted. You just
or don't. Argentinians and Filipinos. If those guys come, you've never, they come in there with a record. They never really beat anybody. But if they can crack, okay, they might not be the most skilled guys, but their power is usually not overrated. They really are knocking out other tough guys like them. So that power you got to watch out for. So, yeah, man.
Thank you. Exactly.
Anyway, everybody stay on the line. we got to talk about that second rainy thing. So other than that, everybody else in the chat, shout out to you guys. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that donated the super chat. 1 Foot Out the Door, Michael Poe, OG Boogie, Pete, aka Scalebender. Thank you guys for joining us and your contributions. Really appreciate it. And that's about it, fellas. Take it easy. Thank you for watching. Shout out to everybody, all the listeners. One Hitter, Marcy D, Jack Napier, 1 Foot Out the Door, Hawker Mustang, Kevin from Chicago, and everybody who called in too. Johnny Boy, everybody.
Salute to Slugger Sam. I'll still break your jaw though. Salute.
Slugger Sam. Shout out to the Brotherhood, Ed Dantes, the greatest boxer ever. The greatest boxer ever. John Gonzalez. Shout out to John. Vince Vegas, Kevin Stewie's father. Rod Davies was in there as well. He hasn't been around for a while. Shout out to Rod. PSK. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. Life and Logic. Take it easy. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.
Because you got nothing.
I want to get out.